can't do the eyebrow thing.
What about it?
Trying to raise both of them at the same, like, different intervals. Trying to do the Jack Black shit.
All you need to worry about is the, what is it, the rock one?
Yeah.
Okay, we are live.
Can you smell what the rock is cooking? I did that terribly. Hey!
All you need to worry about is the,
Hey! This
Howdy,
is
y'all.
TPAW and
Karnage.
Crazy Peas. And we're going to talk Mandalorian, talk Star Wars, all the Star Wars. Because Star Wars and Mandalorian. As you can tell, we're both wearing headsets. It was my idea to try to make it to
Adjust
where...
that hair, because I like to lean this way.
Oh, shit. That's right.
There we go.
Hey, you can still see my my little goofy map in the background. I mean, it's not so goofy when you look at it on the phone, but when you look at it on the wall and stuff, it looks super like... Arnie didn't even notice it was there. Like, I literally...
Well,
Arnie,
like, you said something, and I had to turn around and go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a map.
Yeah, guys...
Because in most offices, I usually see, you know, a map, so I don't even think about it. It's there.
Oh, so I made it more like an office, then, is what you're saying. Oh, awesome. Plan achieved. Eventually, I'm going to get... Because I've also got like, posters right there. I've got a Galaxy
Get
map.
the furball off me, please.
Hey, Dave. What's up, buddy?
Go harass him. He
Are
owns
you
you.
trying to get out to your water? The furball wants water.
I think Dave just wanted my attention. Why, I have no clue.
But,
apparently
yeah,
Dave wants to love me.
So, basically, what was I saying? Galaxy map. That's right. I'm gonna put a galaxy map. See that thing? I'm not sure if it's gonna stay there, or if it's gonna get up higher or lower. But either way, there's gonna be I'm gonna be decorating this office a little bit more. But I've got posters made, and I'm gonna be trying to make more of them. Plus, that's like my testing approach.
Where'd you get them printed off at?
Canva.
Okay.
For like $13 a poster for a 12 by 18.
Wouldn't it be cheaper at like FedEx or something?
Not from what I was saying.
Okay.
We haven't tried Walmart because every time we take the kids to Walmart, chaos ensues.
Because they're kids.
Yes.
That's kind of par for the course.
We went there today and it was crazy because I wanted to eventually get Arian a 6-foot USB cord because I'm tired of them trying to steal mine. And I was going to just get them their USB cords because they're like $8. So I was going to spend like $20, $24, get them all their 6-footers.
And the funny part is, I remember when all the cords and all this shit that costs like to buy 2 or more $20+ used to be like, oh yeah, that's like $2, $1.
Right.
When this shit was brand new and everybody's like, I'll just buy 30 cords at $1. I'll have cords forever.
Yeah.
And then they changed to micro USB from the big fat bastards, or from just a straight like 3.5, like with the headphone plug.
Yep.
For the charger, they changed it, and then they changed it to USB-C, or for Apple, the Lightning plug. They changed so many plugs since USBs and all that stuff became popular after the 3.5-inch floppy, which really wasn't floppy.
Yeah.
It was a hard disk. Kind of was going out of style.
Yeah.
When the flash drive started being normal.
Yeah, I remember those days. I remember a lot of things from those days. Like, I remember technology not being so multi-piece, like, type of thing. And things being just so much simpler. And, like, you could, like, buy a pair of headphones for, like, $50, and that would carry you for, like, years. Which
20 years, oh yeah.
These weren't that expensive. I was able to get a deal on them. But, they're Audio Technicas.
Hey cat, there's a cord. Quit trying to climb over it.
Quit trying to kill my cord. But I got with the Audio Technicas. But basically, I got these. These are considered a teenager dream pair because when I was a teenager, Audio Technicas were considered like they were like the advanced range aside from like Skull Candies, and like maybe people don't remember that, but when I was like 15, 16, I watched quite a few kids walking around with them, and I'm like, wait, are these actually good? And they were like, yeah, go ahead, put them on. So I played a couple songs on them, and I was like, holy crap, these are great. And then I looked online, and they were like $150. And back then,
Ouch.
that was considered a lot of fucking money. Now it's like, oh yeah, we can get these headphones for like $300-400. It's not that expensive. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you rich or something? And they're like,
For the best headphones
yeah,
with pull down mic, like what the wife's got, and
Yeah.
Dumbass, or the Corsair one.
yeah,
That one I found out through doing a lot of research and whatnot. That's the most like optimized for talking to people
yeah. See,
with like Discording games.
yeah.
So
and
I don't know if that would. Oops, I think I.
And I would actually like consider getting like a HyperX headset, like the microphone I have right here. I'd actually consider getting a headset like that if I were to do gaming or whatnot, or just stick with what I got because it's pretty good. But you know, they do have the Audio Technicas. They did come out with a new line that was like that.
They always do.
Where the microphone comes down instead of, you know.
I'd rather go to Walmart,
everything.
spend the $50 to $70 for the basic Corsairs, because I'm a cheap ass.
But like with this, when this thing is just wireless and everything, there's a microphone that's like right on the headset somewhere. And I was using it earlier today to talk to my buddy Paul on our podcast earlier today, and I asked him if the audio was crisp and clear.
Was decent, yeah.
It was decent. As long as there's like no heavy wind or anything, and nothing like massively going on in the background for the audio to focus on, like it's crisp, like
Nice.
it is really good. And so he was like, "Oh yeah, you're perfect and stuff. It's just the video is a little weird with like the background because he wants me to like eventually get to the point where I'm using green screen or whatever, so I can make it look less like I'm in a bedroom."
but it's the lived in.
Yeah.
I look like a giant pile of shit, so that way you look like a shiny pile of shit. So shut up.
So like, yeah.
Well, I remember that's what I always used to tell you. You're like, but I want the polish. I'm like, okay, you have the polish. I'll just sit here and be a jackass in his normal.
Yeah. So before we even got the show live, by the way, he was like sitting there being like, "Oh yeah, you gotta go ahead with your headphones and all that other stuff, and I'll just sit here and ghetto as fuck and eat a bag of chips." And I'm like, I can't wait for you to eat.
I needed a snack, so fuck it.
Yeah. I was like, I don't give a fuck if you eat. Like, I mean, even if you watch Joe Rogan, one of the most financially successful podcasters today.
Right.
He'll routinely have guests on there that will like be eating gummy bears or be like drinking a coffee or whatever while they're talking.
Well, he also has what was it? A couple episodes back, he was talking to one of his guests about he's got the neuro whatever, the neuronics bubble gummies or
the
gum or whatever that he was chewing on. Yeah.
Gummies.
Uh-huh.
I remember him talking to Russell about that. Russell Brand on one
Yeah,
of his casts.
that's which one it was.
Yeah, and like he was.
Well, there was
talking
another
about,
guest too. He was talking to it about.
Yeah, you guys will hear me talk about Rogan a lot here and there
Because that's where you want to become.
Eventually, yes. I want to be like that guy. Like, see, Kevin Smith is a line to measure up to. It's a pretty good line to measure up to, but having your podcast and video on Spotify and making $5 billion on it, and talking to some of the most influential
But that's
people.
no longer just Rogan. Now
Yeah.
that's Rogan and Distractable, because now they're finally
That's fair.
doing it.
That's fair. But still, the fact that I was in my early 20s when I started listening to Rogan. Like, I was 2011, 2010-ish. That was before it became, like, a social slur to be like, I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, and suddenly you're a bad guy, or suddenly you're whatever.
Satan
you are,
incarnate.
just because you listen to a podcast. And so,
I always think that part's funny.
yeah.
It's like, you listen to that person? I thought your political or your life viewpoints were this way. They are. Then why do you listen to this person? Because you gotta see both sides of the story. If you're gonna call him the extreme right or extreme conservative, how about you listen to his stuff? Because he's actually right in the middle where most people are.
Yeah.
And I think we need to take away like the left, right, liberal, conservative titles and just throw mine out there. No, we're all sayings. I'm just saying.
What's funny, what's even funnier about that is that I was actually talking to Paul today about, like, we were talking about the differences between hero, heroine, and villain story, like the journey, and like the tale itself. Like, it's like an actual.
It's a hero story until you become the villain.
Yes, it's the whole formula behind every movie, every show you ever watch in your life. You'll be like, oh, well, what's the magic juice that makes this thing my favorite show? Well, me and Paul and many others study what makes that juice, which is no secret. But there's like a...
Actually, there is a secret. Do you want to know what it is?
Imagination?
No. That helps with the creative and the, it's something new part of the story. Well, you know what the actual story is? Repeat the hero story just like the Bible says. You're doing nothing. Something bad happens. Now you have to be a superhero. You're a superhero for long enough for certain people to hate you and call you the villain. And then you die and go to heaven. Alright, next.
Basically, it's kind of like you're cooking a meal, and somebody tells you a recipe for how to do it, and you decide that you're like, okay, so you did that here, and you did that there, but what if you flipped them or changed it just a bit, and then put in, like, instead of garlic, you put this instead, and you flip it up a little bit, and then suddenly someone tastes it, and they're like, oh my god, I've never tasted it this way before, and then they're like, it's so amazing. Basically, that's what it's like. It's you're creating a formula.
I do that in the kitchen a lot.
Yeah.
That's not how you make it. No. That's not how you make it.
Exactly.
This is how I'm gonna make it. Thank you for the list of ingredients. I'm gonna do it my way. Here's my middle finger. Either like it or shut up until it's done and then taste it.
Yeah, that's essentially what we're doing. Is we're taking a recipe that has already been laid down. Like, Star Wars is a big one. Episode 4, A New Hope. That was the entire trilogy. There is like it's the Joseph Campbell formula. It's the hero's journey.
We've talked about this. Remember, that's also the King Arthur.
Yes.
Which also goes back into the Bible.
Well,
it all feeds back into itself.
Earlier we were talking about the differences though between the hero, the heroine, and the villain story, and how there's like tropes and cliches.
Okay, you said hero and what?
Hero, heroine.
Okay, which
and
is
villain. What Rey should have been in the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Oh, the female.
Yes, where like she's got the more feminine.
I think you're saying the word wrong, but okay.
I probably am. But it's the more feminine.
Heroine.
It's the more feminine version of the
heroine.
Yes, but like basically we're talking about the differences, and we're talking about like tropes and cliches, and I basically made the point that if you execute it well and you use them like a tool belt to service and honor the characters, they're not even cliches and tropes anymore. They're just devices.
Well, I can't tell you because you said you didn't watch episode 3, but it kind of goes into that. You know the one chick that met the Mandalorian who's actually Mandalorian through bloodline? The old princess?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll like what happens in episode 3 because she becomes part of the cult. Not even on purpose. Just happenstance it happens.
You're meaning Bo-Katan, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She becomes a part of the cult.
Alright.
It's hilarious. It's fun as hell.
I'm gonna text the wifey and be like, hey, watch our show so that you can tell us if this sounds good or not.
Spy on me.
Well, it's like, I don't know if it's actually good until after I listen to it after you leave, because then I'm like, oh fuck, we messed up here, messed up there. The reason why the headphones is there, because I can hear myself talking right now.
I can hear you too.
I normally never can unless we turn on the phone and play the podcast. And so I wanted to see like how level it is.
We can do that. We just have to turn the volume really low.
Yeah, I don't want to do that right
Well, no, because it creates an echo loop and it's kind of weird.
Yep.
With the headphones, it's a little less of a loop, which I kind of like. But also, every once in a while, my headphones will cut out because this is an old aux cord. So
Yeah, but like it's kind of cool actually. I actually wanted to see what'll happen to the mythosaur and what'll
To the-
happen
the
to
what?
the mythosaur. Like the dinosaur they saw in the water, and like whether or not that actually plays into the future part of the storyline. The reason why I say that is because if you remember how
Yes and no.
do you remember how I talked about KOTOR before?
Mm-hmm.
Like I frequently mention it. Like off camera, like I never shut up about it. But on camera, I'm a bit more measured and reined in. But when I saw the mythosaur, I went, holy shit! And then Ember's just like, why? And I'm like, you don't remember KOTOR? And she's like going, no. And I'm like, yeah, you keep telling me I'm a Basilisk simp. And she's like, you are a Basilisk simp. I'm like, so you fucking know KOTOR? And she's like, yes, I do, babe. What? Why? And I'm like, that was in KOTOR.
Well, I thought it was funny before he fell because he didn't realize he was on the last step and just stepped like a dumbass, which was hilarious. And then when she dove in after him at the end of the episode 2, she quite literally sees the dead creature, and right before she sees the creature, right before he goes in to bathe himself and falls in, she makes the comment, it's just a myth. This is all mythos. Kind of like your wife. My sister was saying the other day, well, your mythos is the Bible. I'm like, no, sweetheart. If we're going to go that route, then technically they're all mythos. They're all bullshit, but actually they all happen. This is the area where a lot of people get fucked up on when it comes to, like, religion. You said that happened. That couldn't have happened. But like I told her, it's like I've said on here, on the podcast a couple times, it's like, no. What everybody loses or mistranslates is the thing of the gods from most of the pantheons, whichever one you want to worship.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the Christian, most of the Wiccan and pagan pantheons. The funny part about them is what is usually the king, the head god, who's in charge of everything, usually do? Runs off from the wife god and starts banging human women.
Yeah.
And where is that in the Bible? The angels were tempted because human women have nice tits and a pretty ass and long hair. God damn it, my angel dick's hard. Come down to earth, bang them. Then God saw that and said, you fuckers can't come back.
Yep.
Now, they don't talk about the female angels, which I always think is funny that they don't bring up the female angels. No, the angels came down and had sex with mortals. Does that include the female angels came down and got some dick too? Because you only talk about it from the male perspective, but my point of view is, but on that note, it's the Zeus and Hera.
Yeah.
Or like Odin and I can't remember the wife's name.
Odin and
I'm having a blank right now.
Thor. Come on,
just
Odin.
Look up Norse mythology or Godhead.
Someone, if anyone's watching the show, can you please school us right now? Odin's wife. Frigg.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a funny ass name. Frigg. Like Frick. Like Frigg.
Well, no, I could. My brain wasn't clicking on it, but I mean, it makes sense because what do most of the head gods get in trouble for?
Apparently, Frigg and Freya.
Same.
Kind of interesting.
Same and different. It's the same person, but the title or name is for deities for different.
While Frigg was held often to be Odin's wife, that role was occasionally given to another goddess, Freya, also spelled Freya. In Norse mythology, the two overlapped but were distinct in some ways. Frigg, for one, was held to be a goddess of the Aesir, while Freya was a goddess of the Vanir. Interesting.
You know what that's saying, right?
That they're essentially the same person, just two different versions.
Oh, multiple personalities in a god! No wonder there's so many fucking issues with all the ancient gods and goddesses.
Yeah.
They're all fucked in the head because technically, if you look at most of the timelines or the head to the basically be about middle before you get to like the half breeds.
Yeah.
Cause top god's got to get his dick wet, so he goes and bangs a whole bunch of human women. But I mean, the funny part of that is most of the mythos are the same.
Yeah.
With the pagan or, that sort of mythos. It's always the top dicks getting the most puss. So, the funny part to that is that no matter who's top, it's all the same guy. Or, clearly, all these guys on top are from the same family. Because it's just, I am top, I'm in charge, I'm the most powerful. Ooh, look, tits, I'm gonna go get fucked. I'm gonna go get me some.
Yeah.
The wife's like, what the hell? Shut up, I'll give you yours next week, we can make another new god. But I mean, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense, especially since, like, what else are they gonna bang? Like, are they gonna just create
The
gods,
only
or
one
are they
I
just gonna
think
create
who
immortals?
didn't run around and sleep on the wife was Ra's son that came down, or Ra.
The god of the sun?
Not him. I think it was the mythos with the Egyptian godhead about how the mother who became the wife of the sun, Ra's son,
Yeah.
who were the first pharaoh and basically queen of Egypt,
Yeah.
and the way he got killed by his brother, she had to put him back together to bring him back to life
Yeah.
through the help of it was his son. I think it was his son or his brother who killed him, and then another brother god helped bring him back to life, but he became the god of the underworld.
Wouldn't that be, why are you farting right now?
But you know the story,
Hades.
I mean.
Hades, yeah.
Well, Hades in Greek, but it's different name in Egyptian.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it would be Anubis, isn't it?
Yes.
In Egyptian?
There you go.
Okay.
As soon as you say the names, I'll remember it. But I think it's Isis and I can't remember the male, who was the first pharaoh who taught all the Egyptians how to do stuff.
Google.
Yeah, you're gonna go ahead and I already knew you were gonna look it up, so that's
First
why
Egyptian
I mentioned it.
Pharaoh, right?
Well, the first god pharaoh.
First god Pharaoh. Many scholars believe the first pharaoh was Narmer, also called Menes. Though there is some debate among experts, many believe that he was the first ruler to unite Upper and Lower
Okay,
Egypt.
that one's not. Well,
This is why pharaohs hold the title of Lord of Two Lands.
okay, not that one. I guess it would be the first, or the origin of the gods.
Akhenaten's exclusive worship of the sun god Aton, literally Egyptologists to claim that he created the world's first monotheistic religion. Interesting.
Okay, but hang on one sec, because, well, no, because I'm watching the Jordan Peterson.
Oh, shit. Horus. What about Horus? Son of Re, the sun god.
Yeah,
That's what you're going
Yeah.
for.
that's who it was. Yeah, Horus.
Okay.
Because he died, and then the wife / mother puts him back together, because they're all cousin fuckers and family fuckers. Sisters, brothers, cousins, we're all gonna get laid tonight. Sort of thing.
It's amazing how 2,000 years later, not much has changed.
Depending on what neck of the woods you're in. No.
2,000 or 4,000 years later, it's like, yep, they're still fucking each other.
But I mean, technically we're all cousins, so we're all cousin fuckers. By a genealogy point of view, by DNA, we're all related one way and another. We're all cousin fuckers. I know it sounds like I'm calling everybody a hillbilly, but that kind of also equalizes the whole world. We're all hillbillies. So if you think about that, no matter how far back or forward, or no matter which way you look at it, you're screwing a cousin. The only difference between me and you is how many cousins difference is it between me, my wife, and you and yours. Or whoever your booty call is for tonight, sort of thing. How many cousins offer you? She's my 30th cousin. Yours was your 20th cousin. How do you know that? From when I did her genealogy last week when I fucked her.
Well, luckily, after Amber and I did her genealogy, we found that while our ancestors were around the same court areas, being that one of her ancestors was a kingslayer and one of my ancestors was in the court of the king, we are not related like that, luckily.
No.
Not that way that you say anyway.
Well, no, see, that's only in England. We're not talking about the bloodlines that come from other countries.
Then again, it was Ancestry.com that did our research, or did the research and like tested the DNA. That
But see, the funny part is, you go far enough back on the tree,
yeah,
we're all fucking related.
Just watch as one of our first sponsors is Ancestry.com.
What?
I said just watch as one of our first sponsors ends up being Ancestry.
Or 23andMe, or one of the...
Something like that, yeah. Or the ball
Or one of the other websites that does the, oh, you did Ancestry, you did 23andMe. Pay for our subscription. Because as soon as you link their account with our account, because we have ways of looking at it that they don't, we'll tell you your real genealogy background. And it just gives you more facts about, because you came from this line, this genealogy, these are what you have to be careful with. This is, you have this potential for cancer and that sort of stuff. And I'm like, well, I already know what those numbers are. So fuck it.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I was like going, well, either our first sponsor is either going to be an Ancestry thing that's going to be a callback to a previous episode, or it's going to be a ball trimmer.
No. The first...
Or male enhancement.
No. The one I want is the Joe Rogan's one. The IV.
Oh, the IV one?
Or, no, Athletic Greens. Or the IV one. It's basically a drink to give you your amino acids. I mean, not amino, the same stuff you get with, like, Gatorade. That sort of stuff.
Athletic Greens.
Yeah.
You know what one of Kevin Smith's first ever consistent sponsors was? Where they just kept coming back? Especially the Smodcast.
What one?
A dildo company. Because they kept making dildo jokes, and then they kept, like, telling stories about, adult toys. And so the company ended up actually selling a lot of toys and a lot of dildos.
Okay. Well, as long as it's not Viagra, I'm cool with that.
Oh, you're not cool with sponsored by Viagra, huh? Male enhancement?
No.
Stay hard for 12 hours.
Viagra. No. The reason I said no to Viagra, but I'm okay with some of the other ones, Viagra, it'll help you get hard and stay hard, but you take it long enough, you can't get hard without taking it. So fuck Viagra.
I guess what Karnage is trying to say is he's afraid of his dick going limp.
No.
With Viagra.
I just don't trust him because of the negatives I've heard from people who use the shit.
There was a coworker of mine years ago who handed me half of a Viagra pill. And
he expected you to walk to lunch.
he asked me the next day how it went.
It went and went and went.
Yeah. It went for a while. And she probably remembers
Well, the funny part, or the part I always thought was funny was, it's not the Viagra, what was it, the Cialis that came out after Viagra?
Yeah, the Cialis. Well, see, when you say Cialis, it makes me think of the illness dialysis, but Cialis.
Well, that's because your brain's broken.
My brain is also fried from a very busy day.
Thus is life.
Yep. And there's a cat.
A fur ball.
It's not very fond of this. Look at that. His ears are all back and everything. He's just like, human, what are you doing?
Fucker, I have enough trouble getting up. I'm an old motherfucker. What are you doing with me? I creak and I crack.
And I dance. Dance, and I dance. I'm a kitty cat. I'm a Simba. I dance, and I dance. Dance, and I dance. The fact that you're still tolerating that is amazing.
It's a cat. It doesn't give two shits. It's just like, are you done, stupid?
Just watch as someone turns that into a reel.
I wouldn't doubt it.
If
it pops up on my page, I'll be like, all right, I know what episode that's from.
The look of sardonic sarcasm on Karnage's face right now.
What? I didn't do anything wrong.
Just him going, oh my god, a cat video.
Women, not cats. Different type of puss.
No, see, Karnage just wants you to sit on his face and be a pussy at the same time.
I don't mind if she sits on my face, as long as it's an actually a her. If it's a him, no, you're just gonna suck my dick, you can get a nice taste, and then you can leave, motherfucker, you weirdo. I'm not gay. You want something to do? Suck me off and then leave.
Now, what if
What, are we gonna get into the trans thing? Would you fuck a trans woman or
no,
an old bitch?
No, I was gonna get even more funnier. What if Chica sits on your face? Yo, your cat?
My cat?
Yep.
No, not cats. Wrong puss, like I told you a minute ago. An actual
now
woman.
You're done. Here, I'll put you on the ground.
You old motherfucker.
You guys heard that, right? You heard the very audible. I deal with that daily.
It wasn't as loud as you think it was.
Oh, damn.
But it did come through, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Simba. Not exactly known for being quiet.
Yes.
But anywho, so did you like episode 2?
Oh, I honestly thought it was over too fast. Much like the first episode. Watched the first episode. I dug the first episode a lot. I thought it was a very solid debut. The second episode, I liked how we got to see more Grogu, and we got to see R5, which is, you know, the original astromech droid that was supposed to be what R2 was. Like, it was supposed to be Luke's first astromech before he just fell over and careened over and everything. And so it was a nice callback to episode 4 when R5 was traveling around with him, and then with like the whole IG-11 and then like the and I'm trying to remember the name of the alien that was in that scene where Grogu is just all like trying to grab him and he's like, "No, baby, don't touch it."
Oh, the little fucker who fixed androids?
Yeah, Babu Frick.
Yeah.
To tie into the trilogy, to, you know, Last Jedi and all that stuff.
Yeah, when he hooks up and unlocks the Sith language for C-3PO.
Yes.
To actually say what it says.
Yep. Yeah, no, that was the tie into the movie right there. With
oh yeah, no, I saw that. That was obvious.
Yeah, like I really dug that second episode. I really did. Like I liked how it was playing out, and I liked how it showed that while Din seems to have no issues carrying around a Darksaber, well, no, he actually has all the issues in the world. Whereas Bo-Katan has no issues. She just grabs it, just casually sabers the droid, goes, and then like turns around and sabers the other person, and like she's like just carrying it around like a regular Jedi does. And I'm like watching this, and I'm all like, So she has no self-doubt whatsoever, whereas Din's having this complete identity crisis.
Do you know why, though?
Because of his insecurity.
No. She has no self-doubt because she knows the truth and because she is a princess. She was bred and programmed with the you are the top, you are number one, you're supposed to be the leader. There is nothing wrong with you, you are most badass. One, because of your blood, because the bloodline's straight and pure.
That makes sense.
So it's an instant confidence because I know I'm badass, I know I'm the best, so let's just grab the damn thing, kill these idiots, and get on with this shit.
That makes that scene at the end of episode 1, where like she's sitting on the throne, and like Din's walking up to her. And it's It's very Game of Thrones like, where he's walking up to her, she's sitting on the throne, just kind of lounging off to the side with her helmet off to the side, and he's coming up.
Because
to her.
She's no longer a Mandalorian because he did what he did and got the sword, so she didn't have it. So, we're not going to follow you because you're no longer part of the prophecy. You're not the one that's going to bring us to...
There was a sense of dichotomy of energy, like parallel-wise, between Din, who is considered the owner of the Darksaber because he won it in combat, and yet he can barely even hold it to save his life. And he's talking to her. She lost the Darksaber, and
to him,
and he got it from her. And yet she's the one sitting on a throne, but yet has no kingdom to rule. And yet he's the one who should have the kingdom. That's what the rules say. And
that's what she told him. You can go get those idiots if you want. You got the stupid saber.
Yeah, and so like there's this back and forth, this beautiful little back and forth between them, and the fact that they're going into the whole princess stuff, and the fact that that's part of her thing, makes that scene so much more symbolic, because you have this actual royalty type of heir sitting on a throne but with no kingdom to rule because everybody bailed on her over some mythological weapon, and then you got him going off on this adventure to go do a thing with the waters to prove himself to this cult.
And 90% of the time, he's not even using the sword, but it's his, so he keeps it on him.
Yeah, and so he just kind of pulls it out.
I think it's more of... I agree with you with the confidence thing, but I think with Darjen, it's just him. It's the, how do I use this? I haven't been taught properly. I don't know what I'm doing. Use it like it's a sword.
Well,
you overthink it.
They were showing him on Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
There's that entire episode where they were dueling with the armorer, and the armorer was teaching him about how you have to believe in the sword and go with it and follow the flow of it. Otherwise, it'll weigh you down, and otherwise,
I thought he should have got more training from Ahsoka or Luke.
That is fair.
Okay, this is a lightsaber. This is how you use it. Okay. It feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. Oh! Well, that's because you're overthinking it, you dumbass. Explain it to him in simple terms.
Yeah, because
not you have to trust the sword. Become one with the sword. Motherfucker, how's he going to become one with the sword of the Force when he doesn't understand or know how to tap into the Force?
Also, the fact that if there's like an actual ethereal quality to the sword, and his lack of self-confidence and his self-doubt is causing him to be way
I also think that she's got more of a... Damn it, I'm hitting the cord. She's got more of an easier way, or she can tap into the Force easier, because who was she attached to that was a Jedi? Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So she, because of their interactions, automatically understands.
Well, yeah, no, she trained alongside not just Obi-Wan, but Ahsoka and the others. Like,
yeah, so she has either, because of that, either gained knowledge and talent with the Force,
she also
being able to tap into it and use it because she saw them do it. So she's not coming from a blank slate. Like, what the fuck is this?
She also watched Maul, like, savagely destroy.
Yeah, the one guy that was in charge, because Maul said, "No, I'm in charge, motherfucker."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You have to fight for the title."
Yeah, and so
and he kicked his ass and cut off his head. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was watching this entire like, hour and a half video that someone
about it
compiled. It was funny and weird because they took all the clips that were featuring Maul, but they condensed them so that like half the places where I knew that certain characters like Ezra would be talking, like it was like Maul was just having this extended nonstop monologue because the fact that Ezra and the other characters weren't talking, it's because they cut all those pieces out. But it was an entire hour and a half where it was like all the scenes that featured Maul.
It's just a Darth Maul movie.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, but like condensed and weird, and so the flow was off. But I still enjoyed it. I still loved the shit out of it. Like, and it was cool being able to see him kill off the Vizsla guy and see him start to rise up as a fucking underground warlord. And I honestly think that there was a serious misstep in trying to fist Sidious into that arc and then kill off his brother, which, yes, it made him more calculative. Yes, it kind of gave him more of like a thing to latch onto for
I think his brother should have accidentally been killed by somebody else.
Yes. Yes.
Because that would have fit better
yes.
with the way it changed Maul's interaction with everybody. Because, me trying to just be for me, oh shit, my brother's dead.
While I like quoting Sidious a lot because it's a nice meme, I am so sick of this character. Like, especially after I watched that arc with his brother and everything, and watched how Sidious was as a character. I was you were ruling an empire up here, like the mainstream empire. Let Darth Maul have the goddamn underground, you bitch.
Well, but see, okay.
I was not fond of it.
We gotta go back to it with the whole, like, Asajj Ventress.
Asajj was a good character.
Yes, but the thing is, Dooku, you're not allowed to have an apprentice because you're the apprentice. Because you haven't killed me and become the master yet.
Yeah.
So if Dooku wouldn't have been a bitch and just ended up and killed Sidious, one step less.
Honestly,
I think he would have made a better emperor.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like Dooku would have been like a far better Sith Lord character, but the problem is that Lucas gave Sidious such goddamn plot armor that as a character, because there's so many people like Dooku, Darth Maul, Darth Maul's brother, like everybody, they could easily have opted. Anakin could have opted at any time.
Darth Maul and his brother don't off him because Darth Maul is still stuck in the brainwash of I'm in charge, motherfucker, and you better not forget it.
Well, Darth Maul is also stuck in the mental stasis of like,
I need revenge, so I have to be in charge.
I have to have revenge, and I also have to have the rule of two. Like that was like ingrained in his psyche. Like to the point where he's trying to train Ezra Bridger.
Oh yeah, no, that was fun, cause Ezra's like learning it, and then when he's like, "No, I can't go to the dark side," I'm like, "No, just take this bit Maul's teaching you and add it in." You know, like Luke did. You gotta be a little bit of dark and a little bit of light all at the same time.
I don't know.
Go back to the original Jedi.
The idea of grooming a child into power and like being that creepy 50-year-old man, or it looks like a 50-year-old man grooming a 9-year-old child into a 19-year-old who later turns into a 25-year-old, who later on has a kid and a sister kid, and then builds an empire. Like the idea of that versus the brotherhood that Maul had with his brother.
But see, it's not grooming as it is brainwashing.
Both.
But there's a slight difference. The part I thought that was weird was he's pre-programming Anakin to hate the Jedi, basically already turning him into a Sith. But Anakin, even though with as strong as his awareness of the forces, he's blind to the dark side of the force sitting and staring at him in the face. So I mean, I'm sorry, you're a dumbass for that.
Yeah, no,
He should have seen that
yeah.
way sooner than he did.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because, like, he says that, they talk about him being so smart and being so brilliant and being such a, prodigy.
And he has a natural talent.
Natural talent and everything, and yet Plot Armor completely protects Sidious from even that, like, with the way they wrote him as a character. And
but,
I just...
Okay, that also goes back into what Homeboy was saying. But Snape could have done so much. He could have done da-da-da-da-da if he would have been you and... Or the other guy than you, but the thing was...
Oh, Alan?
Yeah, about... Whatever. But the thing is about... Why did he have to be a dick? Because that was his part. Why did Sidious get away with everything? Because that was his role.
Yes, but you're gonna... Like,
but I also see the other point as in... You use the what ifs and change it. Okay, you want to change it? Go change the story.
Yeah.
Go write a new story. Then, when everybody loves it, why don't you turn this into a book? Change the names, make it a book, become a millionaire. Look, it's like Star Wars. Look, it's like Harry Potter. Look, it's like this book. Look, it's like that story. Look, they're all the fucking same story. Just put whatever name you want on the people and go.
I just found it so funny how, like, Maul is, like, decimating everything. Like, he's going around killing people. He's going around creating empires, like, turning the Mandalorians into his own little, like, army and shit. And then, like, the second Sidious shows up, suddenly he's disarmed, and suddenly, like, he's, like, going, oh, I'm trying to get back to you, Master. And then Sidious is like, you're an rival! Psst. And I just, like, watch this and I'm like, well, that was a awkward turn of events. Like, you spend, like, an entire arc part here with Maul actually becoming a badass, and then you just sort of, like, well, right underneath his feet, because the fact that, you wanted to make Sidious look
I think that they only did that so that way, okay, I can't become the apprentice, I can't become the master, alright, I'm just going to go with the one goal I had when I originally woke up and kind of remembered who I was before my brother brought me back 100% to full knowledge of myself. Okay, we're just going to go back to revenge. We're going to try to find Obi-Wan and kill him.
Well, what I found interesting was that conversation you had with Ahsoka in the one throne room, where he's like telling her about the grand plan. And he's telling her about all the stuff, and he's talking like he's outside of the grand plan. Like, he is part of it, he has played his part in it, but yet it's like...
Now I'm no longer part of it.
Yeah, like he's outside of it. And I'm like watching this and I'm like, so why are you so obsessed with Rule 2? Like, you don't need to be obsessed with Rule 2. If you're outside of the grand plan, you've essentially become, a man with no master.
I understand the whole thing with the Rule of 2, where Bane brought it back, because it's we have too many, because we're all fighting to be top dick.
Yeah.
Fuck you all, that's not how this should be done. It should be a minimum of 2. But with the rule of 2, you always have the master and the apprentice, right?
Yes, always 2, no more, no less.
But the apprentice is always looking to find an apprentice so that way they can kill the master, and then the apprentice becomes the master to his apprentice.
Yeah.
So they're always more than 2. There's always a minimum of 3, maximum of 4. Because in some of the what's considered now legends, some of the Sith Lords actually had 2 apprentices. But they didn't tell one apprentice about the other apprentice. So when it came to one apprentice trying to kill the master, if he defeated that apprentice and killed that apprentice, oh good, I don't have to go look for another apprentice, because he under the guise and nobody knew, I have another apprentice sitting here, I'm still training. I've heard about it in a couple of stories, looking through, the timeline, and alright, what's the actual timeline before they turned it all into legends and canon bullshit? How did it all fit in, before they did that shit?
I'm finding it interesting that the way you said that, because, like, you got the Inquisitors, you got the Sith Lords, you got the whatever person with a title.
But Inquisitors are just, failed Jedi. Well, you have some training, so here's a red lightsaber, go kill the people I say to kill.
I'm just kind of wondering if there's ever going to be, like not an Inquisitor or not a Sith, but, like, you know there's a Great Jedi? Like, what if, like, you're not a Sith, but you know the Sith teachings, but you actually are mastering both sides so much that you're not even a Sith or a Jedi anymore. You just know the Force.
Well,
And, like, what if, like, Dooku or Asajj became that? Or even Maul himself, because he was so outside of, like, how everything was working. Like, he could see it omnisciently almost.
well, that's where I think Dooku was originally going.
Yeah.
Cause did you watch the what was it? It's on Disney Plus, Jedi Stories or something.
You mean the shorts? With, like, the old cartoony stuff? Like
Showing where Dooku went to the dark side.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
You haven't watched that yet?
No,
You need to
not
watch
yet.
that.
Is that the one, like, right after Qui-Gon died or something? Or...
No. This is...
Yes, everyone, we were talking, I did say at the beginning, all Star Wars, so, we're, you know...
Let me look it up, because I did watch it, so...
Yeah. I've said it before, you know, in the past, I've said that Star Wars is, like, practically religion to me, so there you go.
Guys, shut up.
Whatever.
I'm gonna give you crap. Yeah, the Tales of the Jedi. It goes over Ahsoka's story. And part of Qui-Gon with Dooku turned into the dark side, and more of Ahsoka.
Yep, I need to watch these.
Yeah.
These are all stories, these are all parts that I, like, have always wondered about, actually. Like, with Qui-Gon and Dooku, and, like stuff about Ahsoka that has nothing to do with, like, the other stuff. Like, there's the Ahsoka book, which I own the audiobook of Ahsoka after she broke away from the Jedi.
Yeah, but this is the before stuff.
Yeah.
Before, like, movie 1.
Okay.
Shit.
Before Phantom Menace.
Yeah, before movie 1 and before Ahsoka becomes Jedi, Anakin's apprentice. Before she's even taken to the Jedi Temple as a youngling.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, no, I'll have to definitely watch those, because I haven't seen them yet.
Because, okay, do you know how in the first movie you had the little female Yoda-like species
Yeah.
in the council room, but in episode 2 she wasn't there?
It was like Yaddle or something like that?
Yeah, it shows Dooku killing her.
Oh. For some reason, I just always see that species as being, like, unbeatable. Mostly just because there's, like, one character with that species.
But there's not. I mean, they've had that one, the girl one,
Yeah.
which is in the Tales. You'll like what happens, or I should say, maybe not what happens, but you'll like the explanation of why
Okay.
she's not in episode 2, where she was in episode 1.
Yeah.
So this kind of happens kind of in between.
Yeah.
Because it's around the time Qui-Gon dies.
Yeah.
Right before they all go to his funeral. Is basically the... I don't think it's the last episode. I think it's the almost last episode. This
Yeah.
last episode has to do with Ahsoka. But
Also,
it's the episode where Dooku's actually talking to Palpatine
okay.
as Darth Sidious.
Yeah, but it's like
when
before
he's
episode
getting before episode 2, when he's getting told to come to the dark side. You are my apprentice. Let me show you how we're gonna fix this.
3. Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I
How we're gonna fix the
watched a few videos on Dooku recently, like in the last couple weeks, and it's come under my attention that not only was Christopher Lee already a badass, but his costume design, which I don't know if you've noticed it, because I don't know if you know what Christopher Lee played years and years and years ago, but his costume design looks like fucking Dracula.
It doesn't
Because
surprise me.
did play Dracula for 9 movies.
Well,
Like
I
7 or 9
think it's
movies.
also just who he is as a person.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna play a character. Okay, what is this character? What is it? Oh, okay, I got the perfect costume for that. Just put something together that he's already got. He just comes to work in it, does his shit, and leaves.
He was an underrated badass. That's what Dooku is. Like I was watching some clips on YouTube of like the Clone Wars series and of some of the other stuff, and then like there's a couple different theory videos.
But I mean,
that were what
do you remember what he said to Obi-Wan when Obi-Wan got, okay, help me. There's a Sith Lord.
Yep.
He's taking over the whole freaking Republic. You're not gonna be able to stop him.
Yep, and he even mentioned Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon would help me.
Yep.
Yeah, and then what happens? What he says comes to fruition. So if you'd have just been, oh, okay, I'll help you, master of my master.
Yeah.
Then maybe everything would have came full circle, and Sidious would have been taken out sooner.
I was talking to some friends about that actually.
I've heard a few comments or videos, seen a few videos about that.
On Discord, and I was talking to my buddies about what if
Obi-Wan wouldn't have had his head shoved up his own ass?
Dooku, or at least
yeah,
humored him and talked to him and not necessarily joined him, but like humored him and was intrigued by it enough to not just deny him, and then found out like through that whole thing ends up having them both grow closer together and have this entire
do you know what the funny part about that is, though?
What?
He's trying to entice Obi-Wan to want to find out who the Sith Lord is, so that way they can take out the Sith Lord, and then that makes Dooku the Sith Lord.
Yep.
And Obi-Wan the apprentice.
Yeah.
That was like the whole point of it as far as I was concerned. Oh, you're my apprentice's apprentice. Ah, come join me. Help me save the Republic from its own stupidity and its own self. Because it's been acting dumb for years, and I've said this for at least 2 decades. That's why I left the Jedi, because of the stupidity that nobody saw.
Yeah, no, it was pretty interesting, but like I kind of wanted to see like a version of that story where Obi-Wan does like, humor him.
I'll give you the respect because you're my master's master.
Yeah, and like humor him and like go with him on that little journey, and then like it like unintentionally brings everything full circle for Dooku because of the fact that now he's helping train and helping Qui-Gon's apprentice learn something, and then like
I think it's funny because I think
like an emotional tie.
Obi-Wan would have, if he'd actually thought about it instead of saying no, that's impossible. We'd know something. We're there all the time. Yeah, you're literally sitting in the fog, you dumbass. But I mean, if he'd have been like, oh, really? Wait, you're saying, ooh, okay.
Yeah, because the response...
But if he would have done that,
yeah,
would the outcome have been not Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme trying to fight for their lives? It would have just been Anakin and Padme. And then Obi-Wan, doing it on purpose, goes after, kills Dooku, and then saves Anakin and Padme. And then they still get married anyways.
Or Dooku ends up actually helping them out because of the fact that he knows that if he helps them out, it'll help him out at the end. And then they end up...
He won't look like a big bad guy. Yeah. And then he can just like, yes, that jackass is the Sith Lord. Oh, we've had our suspicions. Thank you.
And then Dooku just like salutes Anakin as he marries Padme. Instead of cutting off his arm, he ends up helping him.
Well, I think he would have been like, okay, Anakin, me no longer being a member of the Jedi, I can teach you the Jedi Order and how to control your powers. And you don't have to be a member of the Jedi, so that way you can get married to Padme.
Yep.
And then Anakin leaves, but because he's still connected, because Obi-Wan listened to him, like Qui-Gon would have.
Yep.
It's not the Obi-Wan, You were my brother. Why? You were supposed to destroy the Sith. It comes full circle because Anakin's not worried about Padme dying because he's not close enough to
Palpatine.
Palpatine. Well, I was gonna say Darth Sidious, but either way, same person.
Yeah,
Close
Sidious
enough to
can't
him
plant
for
those
him to
memories.
have the dreams sent to him.
Yeah, he can't plant the dreams or the memories. in his head.
The inkling of fear that something bad would happen. Plus, that would also change the future, so that way that's no longer an outcome because he doesn't have to worry about being found out by the Jedi Order because he's no longer a member of the Jedi Order, but yet he got to the level of Knight, so technically he's still a person of Jedi training. So when his children are born, he could train them, and Dooku could have trained his kids if Dooku was still alive, or at that point, because he's training them and not letting them go to the temple, they can decide once they're of age whether or not they want to become a Jedi. And see how the temple deals with it as they're fully trained Jedi Knights at the age of 20.
Suddenly Luke and Leia are, like, Luke's carrying around his saber, but, like, it's not even the same design it used to be, but it's, like, more like a rapier, but it's green. And he's, like, fighting like a total swordsman, like, just like this, and he's just, like, instead of, like,
I think it still would have been the same because he takes the design from the first lightsaber he had, his father's lightsaber, and made one that was green.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was funny because he made one that was green like Qui-Gon's, and you don't find that out until they did the prequels.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's green. I wonder why it's green. When I saw it as a kid. But I mean, I always thought it was cool his was green.
I thought it was green because of the fact that he may have seen Yoda's lightsaber at some point.
No, I thought he was using Yoda's crystal.
That's what I thought too. Like when I first watched it, like. Not
but I wasn't
as a kid,
100%
like,
sure
as
on
an
that.
adult. Or as a teenager, because when I was a kid, I didn't even know that crystals were in lightsabers. But when it was introduced,
well, I always thought that part was funny because
like
it used to be, and this is before they put it in the comic, that the Vader had to bleed the kyber crystal to red to turn it to the dark side.
Right.
But it was more of the fact that you made your kyber crystal.
Yeah.
So as somebody who makes their own kyber crystal, you could take a kyber crystal if you were a Jedi, and use that to make a more powerful fake crystal to put the light and energy through to make it stronger because you're using your original to build the new one.
Yeah.
And because it's a younger, newer crystal or newer thing that you're using in your lightsaber, it's more powerful because you built it on top of what you already had.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of crystals, like amethyst and the ones that have colors to them. Because a lot of crystals, all you need to do is put it in the sun and it'll grow more crystals. It's like a plant.
Yeah.
I always thought growing crystals was fun. I love doing that. Because with the rage and the anger and all of how strong my energy is, I break them on a regular basis. So I just set them on the windowsill and they grow. So my thought process, I'll just grow my own. I'll just be a badass and just
cave of crystals.
Yeah, just go and grab a few different ones of a few different colors, grow new ones. Let's see what combination I can put together. Let's see how badass I can make my lightsaber, sort of thing. But my thought is, I always like for the color, which you rarely see, white and yellow. And who usually is the yellow? Do you remember this?
Yep.
Who?
Yellow is Bastila Shan from KOTOR.
Not just that. The guards at the front of the Jedi Temple.
Yes.
It's always yellow. Yellow is always the guards.
Yeah, it's Jedi Sentinel.
Uh-huh. But also, Ahsoka, when she came back and unbled the crystals, they became white. I thought that part was cool. I'm like, well, those are like the two colors I like doing.
Yep.
or just for shits and giggles, orange, right in the, a little bit of dark side, but I still like my yellow, so orange.
Wouldn't it be kind of cool if like one of the places they discover in this Mandalorian universe is they run into a cave of crystals? Wouldn't it be cool as fuck?
Oh, a Kaiba?
Yeah, like if Din, having no idea what a light super crystal really is, walks into this cave and it's just glimmering crystals everywhere, and it's like one of the caves that hasn't been hit yet by Jedi or Sith to either believe them or collect them.
Well, the thing I think
it would bring me right back to KOTOR, because there were caves everywhere in KOTOR that had crystals in them.
You're talking about the ice world, right?
No, they're just like they were on Dantooine, they were in Korriban, they were everywhere, like different worlds.
But see, my ideal on that is, were they everywhere, or did these are just the ones that everybody knew about? Because what if it's not just everywhere? What if the Kyber crystals, because it said it in Rogue One, are what they believe are in the heart, the blind guy who could have been a Jedi, but he was blind, so he didn't become a Jedi.
He was essentially a Jedi. He just didn't use the Force in the same way.
Well, no. The way I say he's not a Jedi is because he's blind. He had a disability so bad they didn't take him to the Jedi Temple to train him.
Well, that doesn't explain quite a few Jedi that were blinded, and they were using the Force far more effectively than some of the other Force users. Because if you were using the Force, you're actually.
But I mean, that's how I see it from the way they showed him in Rogue One.
Because Visas Mar from KOTOR, the games, she was.
I never played the games.
She was a Force race that her eyes didn't work the way yours and mine did. Like anytime that she was using Force sight, it was using it by seeing through the Force itself.
Well, yeah.
And
but see, I see that as like kind of what I always talk about, because the Jedi did this on a constant. You meditate. That's part of your training.
Yeah.
And me, when I meditate, I've told you, I see ultraviolet and a few other spectrums of light we're not supposed to be able to see. And I see things that you probably shouldn't be able to see on a regular, day or just in general.
Yeah.
And I love that sort of crap because it's like, dude, I became so in tune or so zoned, I could see every color and any color ever. The stuff they tell us our eyes can't process.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, seeing through the Force, you mean seeing what your eyes are not supposed to see, because your eyes have a natural disability, kind of like mine and yours, because of the glasses. It's a thing of, I know I can train my eyes to see what nobody else can see, so technically I don't need glasses, I can just do it.
Yeah.
But it's getting the skill of doing it on command. I think that's where, like, the whole... Because with Jedi, it's the whole meditation thing. So if you could teach yourself how to meditate while active in life...
Yeah.
Which I'm getting close. Not 100% there yet. But I mean, that in my mind it's Jedi training. To always be in such a heightened or mellow state of happiness, or just pure neutralness, that you can see what you normally shouldn't be able to see. That you can only see through intense meditation. But because you've put yourself in a way to intensely meditate constantly, you can see and hear stuff that nobody else can or should be able to do.
That's kind of how things were for me when I was younger. I was in that mentality. I would always into that state of the mind, where like you would meditate so much that you'd end up into that sphere, and that was your reality. And so I would see things, hear things, sense things that people would be like, I tell them what I'm sensing or what I'm seeing, and they'd be like,
You're nuts.
yeah, essentially, like you're delusional or whatever.
But don't you know what that is, though? Them telling you that. Do you know what that is?
Them being insecure?
No. Their lack of belief that a human can do that or see those sort of things. But, and that also goes into them wanting you to be part of their universe, what they see, what they do, so that way you're not an outlier. So that way you fit into their puzzle of family or friends or whatever.
See, the funny thing is you know how like everything you tell me in the car, or tell me gym or anywhere else that you're doing that sort of shit, and you know like I don't ever like question it really.
I just do it.
And yeah, and I just kind of like nod my head and go okay. It's because of the fact that I spent before my mom died, and sometimes even after my mom died, but like I have dealt with such blanketed trauma and just blanketed pain throughout the last few years that I've not become blind as one would be a Jedi blind to the Force. I've become
Numb.
Yes. Numb very much to that. Being able to do that. And I'm starting to finally break past that.
Good.
It's to the point where, like, I am almost sick and tired of being around servers, people, anyone.
Certain things, yeah.
Who are in love with pain. Who are in love with, like, trying to drag everybody else down around them.
Yeah.
And trying to, like, every time you start to get better or you start to feel like you're actually improving, they have to drag you back down to their level. And I'm just like...
Well, that's what everybody tries to do. Oh, you're better than me. Okay, let me put you back in your place so that way you feel like a piece of shit just like I do.
Right, exactly.
And when you don't let them, what do? They get pissed.
Yeah, they get extremely mad.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
They
mad.
come at you twice as hard and with anger instead of just, I have to fix you because clearly you're broken because you're happy. How can you be happy in this horrible piece of shit world we live in? Yeah.
How dare you feel good? How dare you bother to be happy or to have a sense of enlightenment? And how dare you when I can't? I am entitled to your happiness.
Yeah. See, it's the I can't.
Mm-hmm.
That's where everybody gets cut up. Well, how are you doing it? Because I can't do it. Because you're stopping yourself. I didn't stop myself. And then they go into the rants or bitches about everything and anything. I'm like, okay, stop. You see that whole list of crap you just gave me? That's why you're stuck. Because you can't move past or just forget that that's a part of what happens in life. Life blows up or shits on you. Climb out of the shit pile, take a shower, or shit, I've been shot. Let's just sew up the wound and keep moving.
Yep.
They have to live in the misery and the pain.
Yeah.
Which is also why I've really dove into, that's why I did the free week of Daily Wire.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to do the whole thing of Jordan Peterson's Exodus.
Yeah.
Little series he did. Because I just want to sit through it. Because a lot of the stuff that the other psychiatrists and some religious people are talking about, their viewpoints and how they see it. Because it's them trying to teach regular... In the some of them with the universities they're the ones who try to teach why the Bible or the biblical accounts are this way, what it says, what it means.
Yeah.
Sort of stuff. And I like the way Jordan Peterson and the people he brought into the panel are going over it. I'm like, ooh. I listened to it all day yesterday. Almost up until the time I went to bed.
Yeah.
Today I was like, you know what? I'm taking a day off. I'm gonna watch what I want to watch. Have my fun because it's Friday. And then go from there.
Not a little early.
No. Just needed some oxygen.
Yeah,
Just had
like,
a yawn. I needed to get out.
No, see, that's the thing is I'm actually like, I'm starting to gravitate back to what I used to do.
Who you truly are.
Yeah.
And I like that.
And like, I'm starting to like tune out everybody who like doesn't serve my like
upward.
Yes, like the
angle.
Okay, so Paul said it a certain way in the after show. He said it was not serving self, but it's basically the selfless serving, where like you're healing yourself to the point where you can heal others or you can help others.
Yeah.
And like you're doing things...
Kind of like what I've been doing.
Yeah, where you're doing things that serve yourself, but in doing so is self-care and allows you to help others and not be stuck in like a war zone.
That's what I was saying. I do stuff for other people to make myself look kick-ass, because the more kick-ass I look, the better I feel.
Right, and then people get insecure and angry about that because they're, for some reason...
Well, because they're not in touch with their... And I explained this to somebody at church, and I don't know if I enlightened them or I enlightened them so much it scared them, so that's why they don't talk to me a lot anymore. I made the comment that we're all narcissists. That's the natural man.
Well, people don't like to be told that.
If the natural man is the enemy to God, because that's what the scriptures say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then that means the narcissist part of you, because everybody has it. Now, whether you let that be your full personality or not is up to you. But the thing is, that's who you are, whether you want to be or not. That's the Cain part of you.
I didn't say that, by the way, just to say no. I'm saying...
No, I understand.
When I went on about this, and I started, like, doing a bit of meditative thought, especially late at night when I'm, like, writing and stuff, because I'm not just writing characters, I'm not just writing a story. There are times I'll be writing a part, and I'll end up, like, finding out that there's, like, my inner truth is coming out a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Or, like, you know, my talks with you are repeating in my head, and it's like a tape. And I'll be sitting there and listening to it in my head, and then I'll write out whatever I'm doing, and then I'll copy that entire thing, or cut it out of the text, because it's not meant to be part of the story, it's just in the background. And I'll put it somewhere else
just
so
part
I can
of, yeah.
re-reflect on it. And I started telling other people about, like, some of our conversations, and then, like, me listening to some of the psychology stuff, and then, like, realizing how much it, like, synchronizes and how similar it is.
That's why I've really dived into Jordan Peterson, because him being a psychiatrist, I'm like, ooh, if I just melt into that, because that's where my brain automatically goes. That's where it's gone since I was, like, in 3rd, 4th grade.
Now, irony there is that I heard that people were talking about how he was somehow discredited for some of his stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. So what you're saying is that because he's doing a study on something and you guys didn't like it.
Do you know what that is, don't you? That is because he's not fighting. Because he did a thing, I think I sent it to you, about him and his daughter talking about how he'll fight, but if they want him to pay to get re-educated on something he doesn't need to get re-educated on for, things, he'll fight them until they just say, well, we're just taking your license whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's like, okay, if they took his license, they got their feelings hurt. 1. 2. He has even admitted what happened to that he's acknowledged that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
He knew this was going to happen. That's why he made it so that way he could have a good enough income coming in to, as Joe Rogan says, get escape velocity, so that way if that part of his career ends, he can keep doing what he's doing. Okay, we took your license from you. You can no longer practice. Oh, well, that's fine, because I'm doing seminars. I'm doing Daily Wire this. I'm doing this. I'm doing talks here, and here for the next 10 years. Screw off. I got enough money. I don't need your stamp of approval. Fuck you.
Yeah, and it's fair. I mean, that's the thing, is a lot of our media, and a lot of our people, they curate their media to their taste based on what they buy and what they, vote for or whatever. They often, and this is something I've thought about a lot recently, they often subscribe to false idols. And they subscribe to things that amplify their inner narcissism, as you've talked about in the past. Because it helps them feel better about their broken ego inside.
Well,
Remember how you talk
No,
about
no,
how
no.
people are broken?
I agree with you that they have a broken ego. But the issue isn't, well, I can't say it's broken.
Mm-hmm.
The way they're trying
hurt.
to keep in contact with
Yeah.
the ego
Yes.
or the it of the personality, or id. Yeah, the id of the personality. Sorry, psychology words, I had to put it in the right spot in my head. But it's a thing of, okay, is your ego getting in the way? Or are you pissed because you're not like you were as a teenager or an early 20-year-old going, I'm indestructible, I can do anything. You've just come to the, I can't do shit. Fuck it, just shoot me. And this time make it kill me.
Well, we as teenagers or as adults tend to harken back to our nostalgia and to our...
And sometimes it's not in a good way.
Yeah, our need for that unstoppable, indestructible feeling that we once had as youth and teenagers, to the point where we amplify that injured ego that we had when we were younger. And because in our adult lives we got so used to the day-to-day stuff, so used to
but the
everything,
ego's driven by the id in your brain. It's the child.
Yes.
You shouldn't let the child, as you being an adult body, control you.
Yes. But
now, if you want to get your pleasure, go have a little bit of pleasure. If your pleasure is ice cream, go for it. As long as your pleasure isn't murder and rape.
Yeah.
Or, molestation of a younger person.
Yes, that laugh was super comfortable, guys, because I'm just like going, yeah, be the big R. Go on.
But I mean, that's the thing. As long as it's not in the extreme. But that's also something like what I got told when I was taking the get ready or temple preparedness classes.
Yeah. That
I'd never been told in the church, in any church. But something that was said to me, I'm like, well, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
It's the, okay, you're attracted to other men.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not how you were made. You're made to have sex and create more people. Yeah. That's part of the human condition. So ignore that evil or negative connotation in your head and just move forward with your life and not act on that. And my brain went, oh, so you're telling you can feel gay, that's not the sin is actually doing the act. Okay, that's what I've been saying for years. I wish somebody would have said this to me when I was a teenager, because maybe I wouldn't have left the church. Because of the mentality, because you've even made comments about, well, the church says. No, actually, the church hasn't said anything. That's personal people's viewpoints on what it means.
See, and that stuff gets convoluted beyond the hell because of all the bias and all the
your personal bullshit. Oh yeah. I hate everybody else's interpretations because usually, whenever they're interpreting what I see as a viewpoint, and I tell them, well, I understand what you're saying, but you're not 100% there because you're missing the point. And then I point out the points they're usually missing, and it's like, well, fuck you, and they run off. Yeah. You've seen it. You even told me about it. It's like, I hate him. Why? Because he said what you think? Don't be mad at him. Either accept what he said or just forget it and walk away.
Exactly.
I don't care either way. But, I mean, I don't mind being the guy that everybody's pissed at. I've told you that a million times. Because I'll speak the truth that I know or the truth that I've seen. It's like, women are weak. Men are strong. Men are stronger than women. Yes, that is a valid point because that's the way our body is built.
Well, remember, people love to romance and equity.
But the thing is, you can't say, I'm better than you because I can just do whatever I want. You can do whatever you want. I don't care what you do. If you want to do something that I'm not okay with, go do it. Just don't ask me to come along with you.
Yeah.
We've talked about that I don't know how many times. It's the, okay, I accept that's your viewpoint.
Yeah.
That's not my viewpoint, but you live your life.
Exactly.
I do that with Nico. I've done that with anybody like Nico or anybody who has any sort of trauma or anything like that. Well, this is my viewpoint because this is what I've experienced. Okay, have you ever tried to look at it from the other point of view? Okay, I can't talk to you about that. Walk away. Conversation done.
Yeah.
I mean, plus once you hit past a certain age, anywhere between the age of 28 to 35, you get to the point where Okay, you're an idiot. Why are you calling me an idiot? Because you're trying to argue with me for no reason, and you think because I don't agree with you 100% I'm the bad guy. Okay, fuck you. I mean, you've seen me completely turn on that freaking coin. I'm like, alright, we're at this point.
Yep.
Fuck you, I don't care. This is where I sit. Like it or don't.
Yep, no, I have seen you turn that on, and it's funny is people have the most interesting reactions to disagreement and to people who don't agree with them all the way. And you almost see the inner fascist in others. Like,
Fascist?
Yeah, like that mentality. Okay, so what I mean by that, guys, is the mindset of mentality that everyone thinks they don't have until they don't get what they want. Until they don't get to hear what they want to hear. And they suddenly want to shut down others or cancel or whatever.
You mean like a lot of these leftists, which are basically mostly females, not all of them, but a lot of them are females. So it's so you're against feminism, you're against this, you're against that. Oh, you don't like trans people, you don't like gay people. Dude, you're a white chick who likes fucking dick. Shut up. This is not your argument.
See, and that's where like the inner narcissism comes from too, because it's the love of ego. It's the love of.
I'm right, you're wrong. Fuck you. I'm always gonna be right, and if you disagree with me, I'm gonna crucify you.
And it's that inner fascist as well, or fascist as well. That's like, oh, you think that way and you think differently than me. Let's put you in jail now, and let's not allow you to have your own opinion or your own thoughts. Unless it's my opinion.
That's why I like being me, because I'm like, okay, that's your viewpoint. My viewpoint's this, but I accept that's how you feel or live. And people hate that. How can you accept me but think in the exact opposite way I think? Because that's how I've always done it? I don't know. That's like you telling me people are like, how is he so happy when his life looks like it's going through the shit stack? I don't know, that's just who he is.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like, when you describe your life to me, you describe like how everything is,
the troubles and the angst.
You're gonna go into a little bit, and then you like have like your occasional rants, like any other normal person with issues. Like
this is being human.
Sounds like beyond depressing. It sounds like very bittersweet, but yet you're like, I'm doing amazing, and everyone's like, how? And it's because of the fact that your mentality and your mindset is like ungodly interesting. Because like any other person in your position would be like that,
ready to burn everything to the ground.
Fascist who doesn't like the other person's opinion and is like ready to be a hateful little edgelord cunt and will try to police others.
I'll throw this out there. I almost made Connor laugh so hard he pissed himself.
Yeah.
This was, I think it was 2 Wednesdays back. And because I didn't come over to tell you last Friday because I busted up my toe. That is what it is. But the thing I was going to tell you is, and I forgot to tell you when we went to the gym, is me and Connor were driving down the hill and I made a comment about, everybody's afraid of everything burning down around them. I'm the lunatic, light myself on fire and go around smack everybody in the face, or when they flip their shit, literally do this and fling my finger at them and it'll get stuck to their shirt or whatever and light them on fire like, yeah, let's all burn! And you know, just be myself, completely over the wall and over expressive and just go nuclear. But do it while smiling, laughing, and having fun while scaring the shit out of everybody else.
I thought it was funny.
And Connor laughed so hard, he almost pissed himself. He was having trouble breathing. You know, that laugh? Yeah. Oh, I got him.
Oh, I remember that one time in the hot tub where you said a version of that. And the one lady who I said looks like one of my relatives, even though like she's probably completely unrelated.
Nah.
But she looks like one of my relatives. Or like
y'all look. I'm sorry, you in Utah. Yeah. You're related some way, somehow.
And like, we're in a hot tub and shit, and she looks like my grandmother's sister at some points. And we're sitting there in the hot tub and we're talking shit, and you're like saying a version of what you just said.
Yep.
And she literally like offhandedly says, "Oh, I think I know a few people I would like to do that to," and I just looked like my head went like this. It was staring off into space. I heard that and I went, "What?" And she just was like, "What? It's you guys want honesty?" And I was just like, going,
and I just laugh and nod my head.
and you just like the devilish look on your face. You're like, ha, 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 ha. And you're just like going, I'm all like,
of course.
plot twist.
But it's not even a plot twist. The funny part is, I realize that most people think like that. They just don't have the balls to say it.
Yeah.
But
like,
when I'm around, I mean, you've seen it. I've had that thought too. And it's like, from somebody you would never think would say something like that.
Yep.
And it's like, did they just say what the hell I think? They just agreed with this lunatic burn and kill everybody, but he's laughing about it because it's a joke. And they're like, that's a good joke. What did I just walk into?
What's funny is after like she heard that exchange with everybody, like she got even friendlier as the days went on. Like,
Oh yeah.
Like at first it was like a commonality of like, hey, you're at the gym, hey, what's up, have a good day, to like, hey guys, my buddies, and I'm just like going, do we have like an inner psycho over there? It was nice.
I'm really
was
good
funny.
at doing that with
It was
people.
hilarious.
It's because I've even done it at church. Oh, you're such a nice guy. Da 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 da. Yeah, because I know the narcissist that lives inside, and I don't let him come out all the time. I control myself. I know who I am at every dot of the scale, from the most depressed person in the world to the I've snapped and I'm gonna kill you all. Hee hee. You know, I
Yep.
know myself at every level. We've talked about it a million times, but I mean, I love that I'm so aware of myself and so 100% honest 100% of the time. I look like the biggest asshole,
Yeah.
but I make everybody else around me relax because, oh, we don't have to worry about it. We can all be honest around him because clearly he prefers to be honest.
Yeah.
And I love being able to do that because it makes everybody else around me happy.
Yeah.
It scares a few of them, but at the same time, it scares them because they don't understand how I am the way I am.
Yeah, they don't understand the humor, and they don't understand just how the language
The pure
is.
bluntness of me, yeah.
Yeah, and also, if you think about it, especially since we've been in a pandemic for so long, like, people are just so used to just being numb to their own honesty and truth. And they just are too terrified of it. So when you, or someone else like you, brings it out of them, or like when I end up unintentionally, like,
Talking about
exhibiting-
something I've said that
exhibiting
brings
some
it out
the
of them,
stuff you
yeah.
do. Like, Amber's literally told me, she's like, you've been exhibiting Tim a lot. But like...
Yeah, I told Mom you said that and I thought it was hilarious.
And like
She laughed.
And like whenever you and I or anyone else, like us, me, you, whatever, bring that out.
Anybody
of people,
in the spectrum.
yeah, they are terrified because of the fact that they are realizing in that moment that they are not who they think they are, and they have been performing an act of a mask this
For
entire
themselves
time.
and everybody else.
This entire time.
Oh, yeah.
They've been masking the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
And the one thing the pandemic did for me with being closed up, it's like everybody else got cabin fever. I'm like, honesty. Be a complete jackass all the time. What's going to happen? Nothing, because I'm by myself doing DoorDash because everybody's hiding in their house. And I'm delivering their food. Wee!
yeah,
And I went through my brain deep.
there was a couple times where I've like stopped masking just utterly and just like showed like who I actually am, like just this person who's trying my hardest to like be in a happier mindset and like not mask at all. Because when you go out and you're talking to people and you're like, oh hey, have a good day, oh yeah, how you doing, blah blah blah, it's like all small talk BS, and it just it's masking. It's what it is. You're becoming a performer. And when I like stop that shit and everything, I notice that those around me, they start doing the same shit. And then suddenly you start realizing just how much they're all depressed and how much they're all struggling and shit. And like,
And how they try to
Yeah.
hide their feelings.
and they're terrified.
So that way they can try to
Yeah.
pretend to be okay with the bullshit that's going on around them instead of actually dealing with it and being okay that shit happens every day. I just gotta
I've
keep
seen
moving.
flickers of absolute terror and anxiety on people's faces when like, and it's like micro expression. You know what I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah. No, I know what
micro-expressions,
you're talking
where
about.
like they just split second, but it's there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because there's that recognition, and then they automatically just, like, because of their acting and because of how long they've been doing it, it kicks right into high gear, and then suddenly they look way happier than they were before, but they're clearly performing.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, when they come at you, they're like, when they talk to you, there's, like, this hint of, like, annoyance because they're like, you broke my act, you fuck.
Well, it's like, the best way I can explain it from my point of view was one of the days where I was getting into the pool and it was really cold. I'm like, oh, cold, cold, cold. And I'm like, wait, what am I doing? I love being in the water. And I snapped. I just turned off the feeling cold and just, it's nice to be in the pool. And just, like, instantly, 120% just became instant relaxed.
Yeah.
No longer stiff. Once I realized what I was doing, I saw it, I'm like, oh, okay. That's a useless, pointless way to express myself. Off.
Well, it made me think of The Dark Knight. When like Joker's having his big monologue at the end, and it's not even a monologue; it's actually a debate. I rewatched the whole
on the new
The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger.
Yeah, the newest
2008.
one. Oh.
Yeah, the original Dark Knight.
I know which one you're talking about.
I was watching the very end conversation between Batman and Joker, and like when he lets him go, and Joker's falling down, and he's going, and he's all like, ah! And he thinks he's gonna die. He's like presumably laughing to his death, and then like Batman presses a button, and then the thing goes, whoo, grabs him, and then Joker just gets slowly pulled up, and after a while, there's like a beat of absolute silence as clearly Joker's disappointed because he didn't, get to win and get Batman to break his rule. And then he goes to get pulled up, and you can hear him totally go, and he's like starts flipping him up, and then the camera kind of turns upside down to where like it looks like Joker's actually standing up, and he's just like, you just couldn't let me go. You couldn't break your one rule. And it starts out that way. It starts out like it's a punchline, but then you realize that Joker is talking about how people in reality will eat each other because they're terrified of themselves.
Oh yeah.
And
excessively.
And like whenever I see people in reality start to act out or start to get at each other, the Virgo part of me goes, oh shit, this is stressful, blah, blah, blah. The Aries part of me is dead-ass laughing. The chaos part of my brain is dead-ass laughing because he's just like, like, really? Like, okay? Like,
is this what the fuck you're going to do with that information?
Like, you're going to validate the part that you've been fighting,
bullshit
that you've been telling me is wrong. You're going to validate the part that, like, you keep telling me I'm an asshole for saying all along. And I'm like, you know how close, like, the shitty part about Dark Knight, and I'm not saying it's a shitty movie, because it is amazing.
It's decent.
Oh, it is. It's back when movies weren't built off of other movies. Like, it wasn't like they were trying to compete with Marvel. They were actually, like, building a decent movie.
We're just going to build a Batman series, and here's what it is. And
like, there was a certain beauty to, like, the chaos versus order argument that Batman and Joker were having at the end.
Well, that they are in general.
And it made me think of COVID. It made me think of, like, the fact that all it took... Madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push. I was about to say that. Like, I was going to say it. All it took was for COVID to hit in 2019, 2020.
And that was the poke that shoved everything
and then suddenly
over
everything
the rails.
Just went crazy. People started fighting over toilet paper,
This
over buying
stupidest shit.
all this stupid shit from 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. To the point where it's no longer a fucking plot twist if something bad happens. Like, at this point, you're just like, someone goes, oh, it's so crazy, this person did this, or that person's doing that. And I go, and in other news, water is wet. Because, like, it's no longer it's no longer weird anymore. Like, people have gone so much.
That's the funny part, though. Like, everybody got cabin fever who let the shit drill into their head and completely fuck up their mentality.
Yeah. For
people like me, it was like, oh, you're all losing your shit. This is going to be a fun show. Alright, I still got shit to do. Gonna keep moving.
Yeah, like at first I would get angry. Remember that? Remember?
Oh yeah,
I would tell you all
I
the
know.
time about like the conflict in my head
Frustration
and the politics stuff and how I'd be mad at Trump for saying this thing or Biden saying this thing or other people saying. Now I just sit back and go, "Okay, monkeys perform."
Right? Yes.
Because
let's see who's a complete jackass today and see if it blows up in their face. Play.
Yeah, exactly. And so it also, I have gotten so like numb to like
The stupidity.
just the stupidity, but also on the flip side, the quote unquote joys of watching a rich person perform benevolently. Because I know for a fact that it's an act.
It's
know for a fact.
it's not benevolent. It's maleficent.
Yeah, like if you were to go into a back alley and watch that same person act in front of like someone who's been, you know, down on their luck or, you know, had their life torn apart in front of them, they wouldn't even spare a glance.
No.
They would be considered trash. And so, like, the fact that they're, like, performing and saying, "Oh, I'm doing all these amazing things for you." If you were going to do that, we wouldn't even know about it.
Right? Well, that's where... or the humor for me with the Andrew Tate thing is they threw him in jail. Him and his brother and 2 other idiots. But the thing is, they just, if you look at some of his videos where it's like, yeah, all y'all talk shit on me about me being misogynist and this and that and this and that. But like, I'm not like the rest of the rich assholes. I'm not saying, look at all this money I donated to all these charities. No, I just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't say, looky me. I just do it because that's what you're supposed to do. I have money. People need help. So I'm just going to donate to the charities that'll actually get the people the money, not just to the charities that are like, woohoo, more money in my pocket because I'm the CEO.
Yeah, you're not like taking a fucking phone and being like, "Hey, homeless person." No, you're not in frame yet.
Yeah.
You're not doing performances or anything. You're just like, here's a thing. Okay, stay safe. Don't get hurt. Okay, have a good day.
Thanks for the $1 million. I only gave you 100.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Like a lot of the guys who do the helping homeless people on YouTube bullshit.
Or like, you know, they make you feel like you should feel heartwarming and be like, "Oh, I'm so hot inside and everything," just because they did some performance thing for a video camera.
Yeah. It's the, oh, you want me to make you feel better because you did something nice? Guess what? That's part of being a human. Have a wonderful life. Goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you're truly
They
wanting to
get
actually
pissed
help
when you
somebody,
do that.
Don't pull out a camera and videotape it for your stupid blog for clout. Like,
Just do it to do it.
Just do it to be a good person. There's something to be said about
Those who do it and don't need the credit.
You remember Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
Yeah.
The only time he ever took pictures of himself was when he was posing.
And he only did it so that way he could make money.
Yes, so that because J.J. Jameson was not picky. All he wanted was flashy photographs to stick in a newspaper.
Yeah.
He didn't care about whether or not.
I'll write the headline. Just give me a good picture.
Yeah, like all he cared about was the flashy pictures. He didn't care about so all Peter had to do was just take pictures of himself wearing a mask and being like there was no cat or anything. There was no old person. There was no whatever New Yorker was,
Well, that's what I always
stuck
liked
and he was
about the
helping them.
'90s cartoon.
Yeah.
Of Spider-Man, because it was the thing of, okay, alright, put the camera up here, alright, go do stupid shit, okay, I look badass, or, hey, look, there's a robbery going on, alright, put up the camera real quick, go save people, go stop
in
the
90s,
robber.
There was even a part where he made a comment, because he's sitting there climbing in the tunnels, and he's like, because there was the news reporters that were trying to take pictures of him nonstop for J. Jonah Jameson, because of the little fine that, J. Jonah Jameson was trying to...
The fee he would
trying to
give them,
place in Spider-Man's head. And he was climbing in the sewers, and he's like, after all that paparazzi and the camera treatment, the only camera I want on me is my own.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, at least I'll just take pictures for Jameson. He's like, if you're gonna be a decent person, you don't need it to boost your own ego. And I was like, watch that, and that stuck with me forever, because I was like, wait a minute, he's right though. Like, as an adult, as a 30-year-old, I was rewatching with a kid one day, and I was like, what? You know how many people on Twitter do this for clout? They do this to push themselves.
And on TikTok and on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, everywhere. But see, my thing with it is, If you want the clout, go get the clout.
Yeah,
I don't care. Don't bitch at me when I get mine. That's my only rule. If you want to complain and bitch that everybody else is stealing your clout.
And I understand this sounds like me ranting. I'm more or less commenting. This is like a social commentary / like
slight bitch about people crying.
Digging into the fact that people will cry and bitch about others calling them anything remotely related to ego, and yet they're going to sit there and chase the dragon, essentially. The dragon of self.
They're going to feed the beast.
Yeah, they're gonna. You know how like people do drugs to like indulge and everything? Well, that's their drug. That's one of them. It's indulgence of the ego. It's to look at me. I'm so pretty. I'm so performative. That's what I'm taking
look
digs
at me.
at.
I'm so pretty.
That's what I'm taking digs at. As an author, like I don't know if you've ever seen it, but like I've never like. Only thing I've ever done as an author is ask somebody to take a picture of themselves holding the book. That's it. So I could put it on Amazon. That way the customers could be like, oh, people actually own this bitch. But like, aside from that, like if I was at like a...
I don't even ever think about it. I bought a copy so that way I had one.
Yeah, like if I'm out at a library, for instance, and like I'm reading to kids or whatever, I don't know if I'd ever read those things, but like, if I remember reading like a regular actual children's story to children, about the only thing I'd really be like trying to do is having the wife take a picture of me reading to the kids, mostly to be like, hey, by the way, we did this at event, come have fun with us. Not, look at me being awesome. No, I'm just reading to children. It's the same thing as me reading to my kids. It's kind of weird. So like,
right?
So it'd be mostly just to say, hey, we did a thing.
We have a weird way of reading, and because you've read some of the story in front of me, I see that you do the same thing I do. We alter our voices on each character. We try to sound like what they would sound like in our heads if we were just reading it to ourselves.
Yeah, what's funny is...
my kids pointed it out to me that I do it without even thinking about it. I just do it.
Wife said I have a funny voice for the fish in Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
I honestly, I
think he's a funny sounding little fuck.
Well, I think I was trying to sound like
the movie.
The combination of the movie with Santiago, the bird from Aladdin.
Okay.
Like a combination of.
I know which one you're talking about. I think you got the name wrong, but yeah.
Between the two characters. I think that's what I had in my head when I was reading out the fish. So whether or not I landed or not isn't the question, but the wife is entertaining, so.
But see, if the kid enjoyed it as much as the wife did, then that's the important part.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big reader.
You're a big listener, though.
But if I read a story to my kids, I just zone in.
Yeah.
And I'll mess up every once in a while because I think the next person who should say something in the book is not the character that actually says something. I'm gonna, oh wait, let me reread that properly.
Oh, by the way,
I've done that a couple times.
Snake and the Dame, while I don't consider them children's stories really, they're like, if you were to take the Grimm's Tales and take like an Edgar Allan Poe like spin to it, but make it more fantastical like a James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That's kind of what the stories are. And so, you would probably actually have a lot more fun reading Snake and the Dame to them than the one that you were reading to them.
Well, Nikki asked me to read the Magic Treehouse book to her. Connor likes this Egyptian book. I think you'd like it too.
King Chronicles?
I'll have to look at it and take a picture of the title for you. And no, it's not the King Chronicles. Oh. It's a story of a little girl and her brother, and their dad took them to Egypt, where the dad and the mom met, where they used to live. Because they're from. I don't know.
Are they carrying like curved swords on the cover?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Well, the King Chronicles are the Egyptian part of the Percy Jackson lore because of the Egyptian gods.
No, it's not Percy Jackson. I know that much.
Well, no, Percy Jackson's separate from it. It's just in the same vein.
I wouldn't know because it's the little girl An old lady at the beginning gives the little girl a ring,
Yeah.
and I'm a little bit over halfway through the book, and the best friend of the dad has been taking the kids around to tombs in Egypt.
Okay.
And the daughter, the girl, the main character, finally told the brother what's been going on, and the brother's like, "Oh,
Does that look familiar?
no, that's not it."
Okay. It's just that story you were starting to tell sounded ridiculously similar.
The dad's best friend that's with them, his name is Rashid.
Okay.
Himotep.
So it's not Carter and Sadie Kane?
No.
Got it. I'll stop now.
I'll take a picture of the book and you can look it up
Okay.
when I get home. If I remember. If I don't, I'll send it to you in the morning. But, I mean, Connor likes the story. I like the story. Nikki's like, I'm bored. I'm like, shut up, you like the story. Once I get, like, 2 paragraphs in, she's like, but Connor doesn't want to come sit down and listen to me read, or he's waits until the last damn minute, jumps in the shower. I'm like, dude, I want to finish this Egyptian book. I want to know what happens. Come sit. Because if I read it, I'm going to fall asleep, goddammit. When I read to you kids, I can stay awake.
Yeah.
Come here. You are my mental excuse or kryptonite I need from falling asleep. Come here.
Yes.
Let me read to you, damn it.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that sometimes he's no, and Nikki's always like, yeah, I'll just sit and listen to you read. Read, Dad. I love that.
Yeah. So when I did, when I was editing Snake and the Dame, there was the other day, I don't know if I even told you. I told quite a few people online, but I haven't given you too many updates because you mostly just go, okay. So it's not that as entertaining. But there is
my reviews aren't entertaining. That's what you're for.
So there is 4 instances of fuck in the entire book. We're talking 57, like almost 60,000 words of the story, right?
Nice.
4 instances. There is 11 instances of fucking. Probably cut down, but that is how little that F-bomb is dropped in this current story.
Good.
It is so ridiculously minimalistic, it could almost be PG-13.
And it wasn't something you did on purpose, just
No,
something that
it
happened.
just happened. Because I was just like, constantly expanding different pieces, balancing things, being like, well, if I add this in here, I have to, pieces, like balancing act with everything. And like,
does this piece fit here? No. Okay, what about this one?
It's almost not even
that works.
Like it's almost like not even like, as I know
you're just putting together a puzzle.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to explain. Like swearing is part of my language in real life, but when I'm writing a story, because I'm trying my hardest to not repeat words constantly and alter things and make it like a dance of words and dance of like language. And like metaphors, descriptions, make it active and not passive voice. Like there's so many things that I'm doing with it. Like swearing has become the most uninteresting thing in the entire story, and I'm like going, weird. Like you would have thought I would have been like, it'd be so normal to just say fucking constantly, but yet it's not. Like it's so minimalistic that I'm just like going, I could almost just erase the swear words and it wouldn't change the story. But yet, it's still part of my language. So I'm, it's not gone yet. But like, it's so minimalistic now that like, it's such a minimum that it's not a kid's story, but it's also not quite hardcore adult. It's somewhere in the middle.
It's just a good story.
Yeah, is what I'm hoping. Yeah. And like, it's not even like, I was telling you forever, and I've said it to other people too, that like, it's like Elm Street.
Okay.
That's become more of a background tone, rather than like a solid like foreground tone. Like at the beginning of the story, there's the Elm Street vibe, and then you get like a few repeats throughout the story where it's a reminder that that's the original inspiration for the overall tone. It has become
Obsolete.
More than that. Like, multifaceted.
Good.
Like so many different things in there, but like not overdone. Like to the point where I was reading chapter 2, which is the one where I called it Fang Talk Smack.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the chapter anymore. And yet it was.
You had to rewrite it?
No, I completely rewrote it. Like I had cut down all the one-liners down to like dry sarcasm. And like made it more serious and realized that I hadn't delved too much into Peter's motivation just yet, or his conflict with his father. And I was like, wait a minute, I need to delve into those things I always bitch about in other media. And so I went ahead and I delved into it, and I started cutting out things that were passive, cutting out other things that just seemed like they were just extra exposition that didn't need to be there. And like, suddenly I realized that I didn't even need to like type in swear words anymore whenever characters talk, and I'm just like going, am I evolving?
I hope so. I mean, like, shit, we've been hanging out for, what, 3 years now?
Yeah. And, like, I just, like, it was so interesting.
And 2.5 out of the 3 have been at the gym?
Yeah. Like, it was so interesting writing it like that. And, like, just, like, I'm not even following anyone's rules.
No.
Like, I'm just writing the story just to have fun with it. And, like, not, like, curating it to any specific genre or any specific audience. I'm purely writing a story that I can literally be like, okay, I did that. And like, it exists now, and anyone can look at it, anyone can pick it up if they fucking feel like it. There's a fucking right there. Like, anybody can pick it up if they want it, and read it, or not.
But see, the question is, are you almost ready to be done? So
Yes.
that way, the fans, if and when you get some, can go, ooh, I can write a fanfic with this.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Like,
because when you're done with the first set of stories, then you gotta write a next set.
do you know how, okay, the story itself, almost 45,000 words of the story of the 60 is character balancing and stuff happening, yes. And you're learning about who these character is, what their motivations are, where they are at, because really it's one first act of a volume, so it's a lot of setting the stage. 15,000 words of it are lore.
Good.
And like deepening lore and going into like
more details.
Yeah, like there was even like an emphasis on where Fang came from, the sword.
Nice.
And like Peter's talking to his brother, and he's like going, the sword's talking, and Chris is like, well, duh. And then like, you know, he's like, you know, mentions the fact of like where they were originally forged and things like that, and like stuff that I wasn't even gonna put in there, and yet it ended up in there, and I'm like going,
good.
And I'm like sitting there like reading what I'm writing like weeks later, and I'm like going, well, that wasn't crap. Wait, when I'm actually being serious and not trying to be funny, it's actually better than when I'm trying to be funny. Okay, one-liner. Wait, dry sarcasm. That's my language. I started like putting in stuff that just seemed natural. There was a part where Peter is doing like this little verbal spar with his dad, and they're like trying to duel and stuff. And I was trying to initially go with Dark Knight, but then I realized that like in Batman Begins, the very first one, it's not a duel between a father and son. It's a duel between Rachel and Ghul and Batman, like before he becomes Batman. But I did borrow from there because then he goes, never try to deliver a death blow while sacrificing your footing or something like that.
Yeah, I know what part you're talking about.
I took the nugget from there and I like planted it because I'm gonna end up paying it off at the end of the story.
Nice.
End up having the villain be like, you sacrificed your footing or something like that. But like, basically, there's a part where
or the bad guy makes a comment about it, and because he makes a comment about it, he
Peter-
actually is the one who
Peter ends
lost
up
his
seeing
footing.
it.
Oh yeah.
And Peter ends up seeing it and being like, yeah, I said this once. But like in the training situation, I actually injected a bit more of myself into Leon, like Peter's father, because I realized that I'm not Peter anymore. Like I'm not the 15-year-old.
No, you're the adult.
I'm Leon now, like mentally and emotionally. I'm the dad. I'm not the kid anymore. So it's hard for me to write Peter. But like I was sitting there and I was writing and stuff, and then like there was a part where Leon's responding to Peter, And there's the part where he's like, well, yes, child, that would be like that. And I'm just like, wait, that's something I said. That's something I told Ari once. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm writing dialogue that I've said to my kid.
But, okay, this is always the funny part. Your characters evolve with you.
Yeah.
So, no matter what you do, you can remember, if I was Peter when I was that old, what would I do? Okay, now me as a father, how do I cock my kid and go, no, dumbass, this is how you do it?
That was the weird thing. It's like, while I was in the zone last night, I was Peter for like one part of it, and it was like, you know that moment where you're like trying to act like a character, and then like being
you realize you can't.
Being a socially awkward child, you end up like moving a few steps over so you can act as the other character. And you're like role playing, you're playing two different people. That's essentially what was happening. Like I was in the zone, but when I was writing Peter, I was doing the 15-year-old. But then like when I was writing Leon in the very next line, I was suddenly being like, oh shit, this is more what I am. Blah 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 blah, and then suddenly I injected a bit of my own sensibility with overwriting who Leon is the character. But it helped me get to know Leon more. So I'm like, wait a minute, he's protecting his child, he's trying to teach him. And he's trying to show him that, power and show him responsibility of power.
Yeah,
And
there you
where, things are as far as how to be a good king and how to be a good father and how they're nearly impossible, but to find the line between the two.
You have to.
And like,
I mean, you have to do that with life too. It's the thing of, how can you go to the gym every day and still be a good dad? I wait till the kids are out of the house and then I disappear.
Yeah, exactly. Because then they don't lose those
few minutes.
Yeah. The key moments where you're actually there. And what's funny is like, I'm learning that with Arian, like with the 8-year-old. I'm learning that with him because he's only like what 4 or 5 years younger than Connor, and yet like they're in that wavelength already. Where like, if I just disappear and go somewhere while Arian's hanging around, then I'm not there. And then I'm suddenly like my dad, where I'm just not there. And so, like...
Yeah, but sometimes, and this is just a viewpoint I've heard, sometimes, as the dad, you don't always have to be there.
Yeah.
You're there when it's important.
Yeah, and that's tend to be what it is. Like the other night when I think it was Monday, where Amber's like, oh yeah, his homework is that he only has to read for 20 minutes a day, and I'm like, or 20 minutes a week. And I'm like, wait, 20 minutes a week? And she's like, well, you can do 20 minutes a day or 20 minutes a week. I'm like, which is it? And she's like, they only expect 20 minutes, really. And I'm like, because they're still younger, and I'm like, oh. Okay,
so do 20 minutes a day.
I'm like, I told her straight up, I was like, oh, well, I sort of killed it. I had him read, most of Cat in the Hat by himself, but I was helping him by breaking down words and helping him with like
when he got hiccups,
the syllables and everything like that.
Yep.
And
like you're supposed to do as a parent.
And I was like, and she's like, well, how long did you do it for? I'm like, 45 minutes. And she's like, you just killed a week's worth of reading within a day.
No, but see, my kids, it's they've gotten to, well, Nikki, not really Connor anymore, but he had it at the time. It's the, okay, here's the paper, fill out how many you did, how much you did.
Yeah. Each
day, either I, Teresa, or the kids, usually Connor, read for 20 minutes to 40 minutes a day. Alright, they want 20 minutes, do at least half an hour. Because at bedtime, we read half an hour before bedtime. Check out this kid. Half an hour right there.
Yeah.
And then if you're reading on top of that, another 20 minutes to half an hour, you're like getting an hour's worth of reading a day.
Yeah, that's...
And my kids read faster than I do because I read to them, or the wife does, or they read for themselves. I'm sorry, my kids read faster than I did. Of course, I've always had an issue with reading, but I'm glad that I was able to build a habit so that way they don't have the same issues I had.
Yeah. Yeah, I told Amber, I was like, you should just start reading to them every night. And I'm like, or we could just trade off and have like you read one night, I read another night, or something like that. And she's just all like, well, they only need to have this. I'm like, I don't care what you think the school's telling you to read. If you're only reading them 20 minutes a week, then he's not getting that repetition. He's not getting that, like,
the needed add-on.
Yeah, the practice.
Well, it's also okay, do they need to read or do you need to read? Actually, both. You need to make them read for at least 20 minutes to half an hour, and you read like at 7:30.
Yep.
Lay them all in bed or wherever they're gonna sleep and read read until 8. Read until you finish a chapter.
Get off her damn phone or use her damn phone to read.
Yeah, just read a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
And recently,
that's what I used to do with the kids. I mean, I still like reading with the kids. And with reading with the kids, it's actually improved my reading too, because now I can, depending on if it's a big book, like the one I want to finish with Connor. Nikki kind of likes it, but she's like, I want the Magic Tree House. So I'll read that one, but with the Magic Tree House, because they're small chapters, I get 2 chapters out in half an hour. Give or take a few minutes.
Yeah. With
the big book, it'll go over a little bit more. If it's a big, regular chapter like it would be in a book like Lord of the Rings or something like that, decent sized chapter, yeah, that'll take me half an hour. And I just read out loud and just fly through that bitch.
Yeah.
At max, it's 35 minutes.
What's funny is I told Amber, I was like, because she got me to order her a Kindle recently, and it was like
yeah, you were telling me about that.
Remember the payment deal that I did for mine?
Yeah.
I got to redo it for hers, and I was gonna do it last year, but then she's like, "Yeah, I didn't do it," and then so now she suddenly wants one, because the kids have one and I have one, and so she's like, "I gotta have one," and I'm like, "Well, then use it for reading to the kids," and she's like, "Well, I don't know," and I'm like, "No, put your damn phone down, stop watching Twitch for 20 bloody minutes and read to the damn child."
Well, I was having an insomnia issue last night, and I just stayed up and I just sent you and her a few of the videos.
Yeah.
And I saw she was on. I'm like, I wonder if I should text her, get off, go to bed.
Or get off, go read to the child. Like, because if it's at a certain time.
Oh, no, it was way late. It was like 11 o'clock. I think I bumped that cord. Alright, we're good now.
I was gonna be like, I know I was having issues earlier. Yeah, like that's.
I just had a weird itch and I bumped the cord.
Well, I've brought it up quite a few times to her that like she should start like using
your foot
or having the kids use the Kindles for what they were designed for, reading.
Yeah, make them read.
And like having like even if it's having like the automated voice.
We have to buy books. That's why it's a fucking Kindle, jackass.
Yeah, well, what's funny is when they said that, when they're like, "Oh, well, I don't have books on here," and I'm like, "Yeah, you do. You have like an entire fucking library," and they didn't understand what I meant because they've never really tried because it's like all books that I like or books that are part of my library.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I've actually gotten a few children's books for you guys in there, and I can get more. Like it's not a problem. Like I'll find them, and they were just like. No, I just want to play my games because they'll quickly change it because it doesn't sound as entertaining. And I'm just
okay.
I will build that damn library.
It's not even building the library. It's all right, give me your devices then. What's going on? All you want to do is play games. Thank you. These are now mine for the next 2 days because you don't want to do what you were told to do, which was go read a book for 20 minutes to half an hour.
Yep.
So, you get to go play outside in the real world. Here's hoping you don't get bumps, bruises, and scars. And just smile while you shove them out the door. Yeah. Don't die!
Well, what's funny is they wanted to go to the park right around 7-ish when Amber needed to be cooking dinner and
That's
shit.
a little late.
And I was like, and we were like, no, we're not going to the park right now. And they just kept begging to go to the park. And we're like, no, we can't. Like, we need to get a home to get food made, and then you need to eat food and go to bed. And they were just like, nah, park. And
no. You know what you go then? Okay, then don't ask for food in half an hour. Bye. Wait, you said I'm not allowed to ask for food? Yeah, you go to the park, you can't ask for food. So which is more important, food or playing till you're half dead? Food? Sit your ass down, calm your butt down, read a book, and chill while we cook food. I mean, it's not hard. It's just, look, here are the facts. If you leave and go to the park, one, I'm not coming and getting you. Two, if you don't come home by the time it's dark outside, I hope you can get into the house, because I hope you don't disappear.
Yeah.
Two, if you leave, I am not providing food or coming and getting you for food. You have to come back on your own before bedtime or you get no food. Oh, and for shits and giggles, I hope you can figure out how to get water, because there's no water fountain. Have fun.
Well, that's if, like, they even ate the food that we've been making lately.
Don't give them a goddamn choice.
Because, like, Mare will cook different varying dishes for, like, calendar, and the kids won't even touch them. It's annoying. And, like, today, Amber made nachos, which she was supposed to make. I guess the calendar said pizza, so she's going to do pizza tomorrow instead. But she made nachos tonight, and Aryan was like, I'm not touching it. I even tried putting the nacho in his mouth, like a chip, with, like, cheese on it. Because, like, he loves cheese. So I was like, here, Mouse, eat the cheese. And he's just like, so...
No, that's when you tap him on the head. Then you have to go to bed without your tablet by. You know, you ain't gotta be a jackass. You just have to be stern enough for them to go, wait, I don't get to play with my toy, but because I don't want to eat the food, I'm not allowed to sit here. I have to go to bed now. I don't like that. Well, too bad. Eat your food or go to bed. Those are your options. I mean, people will come and crucify me about this, which, actually, bring it, bitches. I ain't dead yet.
Well, if they crucify you, then they have to crucify the family's first worker, Tyson, who is teaching us that exact option.
Well, I mean, it's the old thing. It's going back to old school.
Well, it's also not punishing.
Kids are going to cry, whine, and complain.
It's still giving
Here
them
are
a
your
choice
options.
Yeah.
Bed, or eat food and then bed. And if you go to bed, no tablet, no nothing. I'm going to turn off the light. You're going to be under the blanket. The only light in there is going to be a night light. Maybe.
Yeah, because it's like, it's giving them a range of options and choosing one.
Yeah, you only give them two options. But you also give them a circumstance with one of the options. If you don't eat your food, then that means you have to go to bed. And because you're going to bed, that means no devices. And with your kids, that'll piss them off more than anything.
Oh, yeah, no, Cass had an absolute conniption fit. And then right after Cass had a conniption fit, and the other kids gave him crap, you know what he did? You know what that sneaky little shit did?
Huh.
He convinced Mommy to have me come back in the room to read them a story, and you know what he did? He took both of their tablets away from them, handed them to me, and said, "You're a good dad. Now read us a story." Because he got mad because Mommy took his tablet.
Because he fucked up.
Yeah, and so he got them to get mad and complain, and so he could look like a good child. Sneaky little shit.
Sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, no, there are days where he is starting to emulate both you or Nephi.
But see, here's the difference between Nephi and me, which is where he might have some hindrances, or it might actually help him. First child. Nephi, last child. Completely different range of shit we could get away with, because he's the last one. And basically, once I lit the fire, they all jumped in.
Yeah.
So, I'm already sitting there in the middle of the barbecue, toasting my toes because it's nice and warm. While everybody else is either burning or dying around me.
Yeah.
Nephi's the only one that survives like me and just sits there and gets his toes toasty. So, Cass will either get burnt in his own fire, or just sitting there with toasty toes, being like, "These fucking idiots, this is fun."
That's exactly what he does. and he has to get mad first and throw a temper tantrum when he doesn't get his way, but he is gradually going that direction.
But see, he's got to learn how not to throw the tantrum like, this is what's going to happen because I did that. Alright, how can I make this to my benefit? Oh, I know what to do. Okay. Now just sit back and watch. You're not complaining they took away your device. Yeah.
Yes, you guys.
As soon as they say yeah or uh-huh, that's when you should be scared, because they know they fucked up, and now they're just waiting for everything to either crumble or for the outcome to go, here, get out of my face, go away, I'm tired of looking at you staring at me with the goddamn serial killer smile. You know what I mean, though.
Yes, that either Phoenix or Cass gets in their face.
I think Phoenix is cuter because of the way she does it.
Yeah.
Cass is like, you could try, but you will fail. And that's why he doesn't like dealing with me. He's like, you're an asshole. No, you just don't like dealing with me because we're the same jackass. Don't call me an asshole. You're one too. I mean, come on now. He doesn't like that. Yeah. But I mean, if he fights, it's alright. You want to fight? You gonna actually hit me? Well, you're the one acting like you want to throw. You want to throw? Okay, go ahead now. Because he tried to push. I think it was 3-4 weeks ago, and I'm like, nope, line. Yeah. Oh, I don't like that. I don't care what you like. I'm the adult. Mama's here. If I cross the line, she'll shoot me. You got a gun, Mama? Not on me. See, we're good. I ain't crossed the line. Now, I asked you a question. What's the answer? Da 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 da. Okay. Now, would you like that? Yes. Good. Now get it and go away. Quit crying. I'm straight. I'm forward. I'm clear. I'm cut. You experienced it at the gym and just me and my goofiness in general. Mm-hmm. Okay, workout. I'm already done with the 2 workouts. Where are you? Almost done with the second one. Okay. Because I just get and go.
Yep. Yeah, lately he has been like Speed Rabbit on crack.
When you have extra energy, you gotta find a way to use it. I don't have a side bitch, so you know. It's gotta be the gym.
The gym is your side bitch.
One of them, yes.
And we're back to that.
Why not? Tell the joke right before we end. Because I always love leaving, making you laugh your ass off. Because it's the best damn way to end an episode. I'll make you laugh so hard you get paid. I didn't get it with the burning. I'll get it with something else.
Oh shit. What's even funnier is earlier this afternoon we ran into Andrew on the way across the store, because Amber has this way of like weaving around the store aisles and shit, and like at first you're like not sure where the hell she's going, but then you realize
no,
she finds
you're
a way.
not sure.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, we're doing like Nanny. Up this, that, because that's what Nanny did.
Yeah.
Our grandmother.
That's
all
exactly
the way
what she was
through
doing.
the store.
That's exactly what she was doing. From
Yeah.
Aisle to aisle to aisle to aisle
Yeah.
to aisle to aisle to aisle.
So that way, just in case you forgot to put something on the list. Oh yeah, I forgot. We needed this too.
I was like, this is a fucking maze, and she's like going, she just kind of goes, and then like out of nowhere, Ariana and Cass were fighting each other again, and she's like, come on, boys, stop. And then I had to stop them. But like, yeah, no, we were just bouncing from place to place. So on the way over to by the frozen food section, we ran into Andrew, because we're on the other side of it. He was walking down, because he was like going to try and make his way down where there was least amount of customers ever, and then go out the front so we can go vape or whatever. And then he ran into us, and then he got completely abruptly stopped. And he started like, you know,
shooting the shit.
Kissing on his nephews and nieces and shit, and then talking to us. And then I like kind of asked him off key. I was like, so has they told you yet? And he's just like, I mean, he told me about Cord. I'm like, Cord? Okay. I guess he's doing that. But he's like, wait, what has he told you? And I'm like, so he hasn't told you yet. And he's like, I'm like, he hasn't told you that he's getting evicted? And he's just like, no. And I'm like, oh. And like, there was that little beat and stuff. And so, apparently Jose is going to be trying to, he's going to actually do the thing. You know that thing you could do where you're trying to fight the process? He's going to try and do it. And I hope he wins, but I don't know. But like, yeah, like,
well, even if he doesn't win, while the process is going on, they can't kick him out.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping so, because maybe that's the strategy.
No, I have seen it in other states and just in the court system. Oh, you're going to evict me. I have 30 days to leave. Okay, I'll see you in court. That'll take 3 months. I'll have enough money to either pay you off or leave. All right, thanks, bye. I've seen it work.
Yeah. Huh.
And I know a lot of people who are ghetto and have no money who do this repeatedly. They pay for 1 month, maybe 2, and then they run the system because it'll take 3 to 4 months, and they get free fucking ride while it's running through the system.
Very interesting. Yeah, he was telling me about how.
Sorry, it's a viewpoint.
There was a lot of stuff that was happening while he was there, and stuff that he hadn't told anyone about for a while, and
that doesn't surprise me. This sounds just like Jose.
Yeah, well, they kept changing managements, so every time that the management would change, it was like a hard reset occurred because they weren't very good at paper trails. And so every time that they would do shit or pull shit with him, he would document it himself, and then they would just keep moving along and just repeat the same mistakes. And so I think that maybe what he's trying to get them for is all the bullshit they've been pulling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he's got a solid case, he can walk away from this bitch owning that whole motherfucker if he knows how to do it right or has a decent lawyer.
Yeah, I'm hoping he definitely got that.
If not, he'll get 4 to 6 months free rent, and then, alright, fine, fuck you. Yeah. And just leave. Like, and if the court comes after him for the fees, I can't pay the fees, clearly, because I can't pay my rent. Yeah. Have them pay for it. They're the rich freaking corporation. Have a good day.
Yeah, that honestly, I hope he's playing his dice right, because like otherwise he's got like a month left.
If he doesn't, he'll get fucked hard. But I mean, if he plays it right, he could get 4 to 6 months of free rent, because it's in court. You can't fucking do shit to me till it's resolved. I mean, and this I only know from people I know who've actually done it.
Yeah.
Least amount of time, 3 months usually. Unless the judge just tries to shove it all through at once, then you like if you get a week.
Yeah.
But I mean, it also depends on the judge and your lawyer. Or their lawyer. I mean, if they're a corporation, because it's the corporation owns it, not one person.
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit harder. But if you know how to drag it out, or know how to make them, because they keep rotating, like you're saying, management. Yeah. Clearly, none of them know what the fuck they're doing because they keep rotating the management, and after I've solved an issue, they come at me for the same damn issue.
Yeah, it's just repetitive.
Yeah, they literally have their heads up each other's asses and don't know what they're talking about and keep coming to argue with me over something that's been taken care of repeatedly.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this shit.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah. But I mean, he could probably drag it out with all the evidence he's got. He could drag that thing out and get at least 6 months free rent. If he does it right.
Which would allow him to hopefully save it for a place.
Yeah.
And get the fuck out of there.
Here's hoping. No offense to your mom, I don't think she should have got an apartment in that shit style, but it is what it is.
It was the one place they could get that...
Yeah, at the time, no, I know, I understand, I don't know, I don't like that place, just like I don't like a few of the other apartment complexes around here.
Yeah, I didn't like that place. I didn't even like living in that place, like that apartment complex. And I didn't like living in the next one either. I just dealt with it.
The only reason I dealt with the apartment and townhome I lived in is because of the stupid wife. Why don't we just not? So I told her, well, when we get my check, we'll have enough money. Why don't we just put a down payment, buy a house?
Yeah.
No, she wanted to do rent. So we did that for 4 or 5 years. And then had to come back here for a couple years to try to save up and work ourselves back up to where we were when I got my back pay check for disability. So, who's right again? Me! Fucking people try to argue with me. This is why I get irritated with the stupidity of the world, because it's like, I know what I'm talking about. Look at these past events. Look at how what I said, if we'd have done it the way I said it, I wouldn't be where we are now. We'd be freaking 10 times better and have $1 million saved up by now, or had found a way to make $1 million and be sitting pretty and not worrying about shit.
Yeah.
Before freaking COVID and all the bullshit happened. If we'd have gone by my plan, shit would have been fine. No!
Had to go do your thing.
Yeah. Alright, fine. You know what? You don't want to be argued with because you got tits. You're a woman. But yet as soon as I call you out for being a woman, I'm a sexist. Look who's talking reverse sexist. Everything's my fault because I have a dick and balls. That's not sexist. Yeah, that's called reverse sexism because I'm a man, you're telling me it's all my fault when you're the one doing all the stupid shit and I'm telling you how to do it right.
Yeah.
I've dealt with this. I'm not just in my current relationship. I've dealt with this my whole life. It's like, well, you know, if we did it this way, there wouldn't be any BS and probably be done in half the time.
Yeah.
But the book says to take an extra 5 steps. That's like the math equation. Okay, now I can't hear myself. Ah, there I am. I bumped the cord.
Weird?
No, the cord's acting up.
Oh.
We're good. This thing, or it's that part, it's acting a little funny. But what was I saying?
Feminism.
Something about
corrupted feminism. Females. And.
no, there was. Oh, math. It goes back to in math class, algebra. It's the here's how you do it. Here's all the steps. Okay, I can take out this one, and this one, and okay, there's the answer.
Yeah.
I got more trouble just for writing down the answer because I didn't need to, fill out the whole problem. It's like, okay, that one's that one, and I just put little like marks.
Yeah.
Not show the whole thing. I do the most minimalist of ever on marks, showing how I did the equation, or I didn't show anything. I just did. Okay, there's the answer. Here you go. I got more trouble because I didn't show my work.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, the way my brain works, I don't need to show my work. The answer is just the answer.
Yeah.
I could have, but I made more money doing other people's homework and showing the work on their fucking time. I haven't told the teacher the last year I was in his class, I've done like 4 or 5 of your students' work the whole time I've been here, right? He's like, I know. Is that way? Like,
yeah.
done. It. So
yeah.
you'll have to re-upload it.
Yeah. So this has been Crazy Peas. We've talked Star Wars. We've talked real life. We talked Star Wars again.
A little bit of Mandalorian.
Visits the Mandalorian. We talked a bit of mythology. Talked a bit about the writing. So we'll meet around again sometime next week, or at least the same area of time next week, and get things going. I'm TPAW.
Karnage.
And have a week.
Take it easy, y'all. Don't kill each other.
Save that time. Save that shadowscape. TPAWsplayground.com. Crazy Beast.